Calm has since been restored at the facility and the injured have been transported to hospital for medical treatment.
The head of the Hawks' Tactical Operations Unit has confirmed that he dispatched officers to verify the legitimacy of a police operation at the home of alleged criminal mastermind Katiso KT Molefe. Testifying before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria today, Lisiba Mokoena claimed he was instructed by his superior. The political killings task team had raided Molefe's home in December of last year to arrest him in connection with the murder of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart. But it has been alleged that a group of very aggressive Hawks officers tried to prevent the task team from carrying out the arrest. Mokoena has told the commission today he only deployed 2 officers to verify the operation and has no knowledge of where the other officers came from.
When the DIFCOM General Mpodo gave me instruction, he clarified everything to say members there, alleging from the Hawks and then alleging to be with our national head, General Levia. But when I instructed the member, I said them to go and verify who are those members that are there and to confirm if it's a legit police operation.
At the same time, the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee probing allegations of police corruption has recommended the removal of several people from its lengthy witness list. The committee was briefed today on its witness list, which contains more than 30 individuals who are expected to give evidence before the committee concludes in November. Evidence leader Advocate Norman Arendse says some witnesses may no longer need to appear because the committee has enough information. Babalondenze reports.
The ad hoc committee is meeting today to sort out its lengthy witness list of at least 34 names before today's meeting. The committee is preparing for its next witnesses following the conclusion of Deputy Minister Castle Matale's evidence yesterday. Evidence leader Advocate Norman Arendse says the committee doesn't have to bother with some witnesses.
There's some other witnesses we of the view are not either necessary or that there's a need for them to give us information.
But he says Minister Senzo Mkunu's Chief of Staff Cedric Nkabinde is relevant after being fingered in police interference.
Nkabinde, the name has cropped up repeatedly, is an important witness, and we've proposed calling Nkabinde on 13 and 14 November.
The committee also wants Brown Mohosi to appear to answer allegations that he tried to influence the disbandment of the political killings task team. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News.
To this now, the Department of Community Safety in Johannesburg is preparing to move forward with a number of suspensions in November. Safety MMC Mgcini Tswaku says the city is working on removing officers found to allegedly be working with criminals. Tswaku made the comments while briefing media today on the challenges and achievements of the department in the past year. The briefing comes as the city prepares for the festive season, which often sees a rise in crime. Tswaku says officers found guilty of wrongdoing should prepare themselves for a purge.
In the month of November, there's going to be a wave of suspension of individual incompetent criminals and tough law enforcement officers that are amongst ourselves. It has started, there's going to be a second one, and more are coming.
And in Tanzania, protests have broken out today with hundreds of young people tearing down banners of President Samia Suluhu Hassan and burning down a police station. The East African country went to the polls today in elections where the main challengers have either been jailed or barred from standing. Police fired tear gas but were forced to retreat as protesters pelted them with stones. In a statement on X, internet watchdog NetBlocks reported a nationwide disruption to internet connectivity. Polling stations in Dar es Salaam were virtually empty in the morning despite being busy at that time during the previous elections. Gold is trading at $4,025.76 an ounce. The rand is at 17.12 to the dollar, 22.63 to the pound, 19.93 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.40 a barrel.
Accident seen in the Bramley area, M1 South near Caller Drive, causing heavy delays all the way from Marlborough Drive. Also in Calvin, roadwork still slowing down traffic. N3 southbound between the Butler Interchange and London Road.
In your sport, Lotta Voltbad's century helped South Africa post 319 for 7 in the World Cup semi-final against England. Tembi Kgatlana scores the winner as Banyana seal WAFCON qualification. And Adeslam Wadu cautions Sizolanda Pirates players against showboating.
It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers across the province. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 24 and 25 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. 2 inmates have died following violence which broke out at the Polsmoor Remand Correctional Facility.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's 7 minutes past 3 on Wednesday, the 29th of October. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you are listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. The Madlanga Commission is currently hearing some quite extraordinary stories about the day some members of the Hawks stepped in to disrupt the arrest of murder-accused Katie Mulife. More on that story after 5, but what it's really illustrating, and if you've been watching, I would love to get your views on this. We started off these inquiries prompted, obviously, by the allegations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, focusing on the upper levels of the police and their relationships, A, to possible criminal syndicates, and B, as well, their relationship to senior politicians. What we've been getting from Madlanga this week, though, is the extent to which this rot has taken root in levels much, much lower down in the ordinary activities of ordinary members of the South African Police Service. It's really startling stuff, and Bernadette Wicks, who's been covering it very closely, not just at Madlanga, but this particular arrest and the incidents that surrounded it. She was on that story quite a while back, as I said, with us at about 10 past 5. Some other stories we're doing. Why are so many public infrastructure projects at a standstill? Why are so many public buildings in a state of disrepair? Minister Dean McPherson has been briefing Parliament on this. Lindsay Dentling has been listening in and joins us in about 5 or 6 minutes' time. Another story in the news today: the man accused of 1 count of attempted murder and of murdering 2 women in Mamelodi appearing in court today. Khomotso Modise is on that story. And that car you bought that seemed like a good deal. Are you feeling more pain in your pocket than you expected? Wondering if the choice you made was actually the correct one? Financing of vehicles and the payments that are required, very, very much more complex than it sometimes appears when you're sitting inside a dealership enamored with the ride that you're about to buy. Paul Rulofsir joins us to unpack some of that stuff. That's on Minding Your Money at 10 to 5. We've got all that and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news from the roads in our regular traffic updates, and the latest from the markets. The JSE has been going a little bit like the Proteas women, going with a bang. 319 they posted, just to quickly go back to the cricketers, against an England team that bowled them out for 69 in the first game of this tournament. That is an improvement of 250 runs. We'll talk about that later with Tolakele, but let's get back to the markets. The JSE up by 1,350 points, or 1.23%. Resource stocks once again in massive demand. That index is up by 4.7. Some examples: Valterra, the platinum producer, up by 7.4%, Northam by 5.5%, Glencore by 5%, and Sibanye by 4.9%. As for the rand, our currency is trading at 17 rand 13 against the US dollar, 12 cents stronger than this time yesterday. A euro will cost you 19 rand 93. That's a 17-cent gain over 24 hours. 22 rand 62 will get you a pound, a 33-cent improvement from this time yesterday. Oil price up by 6 cents. Brent crude trading at $63.84 a barrel. Stephen Critters joining us with all the details at 25 past 4. We'll have sport with Tolakele Mganga. Mbali Dlamini has the very latest news headlines. Karabo Chale back today and keeping an eye on the roads. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. And if it's happening in 702 land, you will hear about it here first. But we can always do that much, much better. Absolutely fulfill that promise if you help us out. So do give us a call. If there's something that we don't know about, something we may be talking about but don't have the full picture. And hey, if we've got completely the wrong end of the stick, use a stick if you have to. Contact us on 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702. This is 702 Drive. It is, what is the time? 11 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, we've got lots to talk about, lots to inquire about, lots to think about. Some of the stuff we think about and share with you can be quite random, but today's thought is, well, I think like yesterday actually, not a random thought at all, because first of all, Banyana absolutely doing us proud last night and qualifying for Women's AFCON. That's later in Morocco. This in spite of not having their coach involved as she should be. That's because she is currently in some kind of dispute with SAFA over her contract. So that's not a healthy situation, but the women's team prevailed. And then our cricketers, I mean, absolutely astonishing. 319 they made off 50 overs against England, who are, to put it mildly, one of the favourites, number 2 in the world and previous winners of the trophy that is up for grabs. So the question we thought of exploring is, and this would obviously go to our women listeners, but it might also go out to men who are fathers of young girls. Women in South Africa and the opportunity they have as young girls and then as teenagers, young women, their opportunities to play sport. What were you offered at school? Were you encouraged to play sport? And who gave you that kind of encouragement? And then I'm really keen to know what happens in those kind of teen years, whether your opportunities are sustained, whether the support you get and the interest you get is sustained. And then the final question, just to load on to a good number of questions, is if sports like football, which we were talking about a moment ago, Banyana, or cricket, as we refer to the women Proteas, second innings still to come, of course, but they're doing fabulously well. Football, cricket, even rugby, were they offered to you at school? And if they had been, would you have gone for it? Are those sports you would have played if you'd had a chance? Give us a call on that on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Rafue, a very good afternoon to you. I mean, what about your life growing up in Welkom? Yeah, sports were girls encouraged, and if so, to what degree and to play what?
Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. So sports was really encouraged at school, particularly in primary school. So I was the captain of my athletics team. So
Okay.
I did short distance sprinting. Really good at that. I think if I tried again, maybe.
Yes.
So I also played tennis. I did swimming. So it was really encouraged. Even in the township, I continued running. So we had a squad in the township where we would go to different schools and run against these schools. So it was really encouraged. And I think in high school, yes, I did judo also. So it was,
Okay.
I had colors in my judo, by the way. And then, so it was definitely encouraged. And I think if I'd seen a career in sport, because I myself didn't see a career in sport. As much as they said, no, you can become a runner, but I didn't see that. I think maybe had I seen a career in sport, maybe I'd been a runner or continued with judo.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I mean, Karabo, obviously you and I are men talking about women in sport, but I mean, your observations, whether it is from school or club sports in the places where you've lived, what's your sense of the extent to which women get proper backing for sport?
I will talk about my missus. So she played soccer. There was I think she played for Scum girls. There were Scum boys and Scum girls, and the community really were big in soccer. So she played soccer, and I think she's really good from the tricks and dribbling that she does now.
Definitely better than you.
Much better than me. But then the thing is that her parents, particularly her mother, she didn't see it as a career or something she could pursue. which was a letdown for her. She still regrets not enforcing herself to do sports. But yeah, she's pretty good. She could have went far. With me, influences that I had, I was easily influenced to get into sports. I remember watching soccer with my dad. He was a big soccer fan, and then that was the first sport I did.
Yes.
Watching Olympics, experiencing judo. I tried that out. Pete Sampras, I was a big fan. I tried that out, but unfortunately I was never good enough.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's hear your stories, please. Young women, your memories, or maybe you've got daughters who are involved in sport, or young girls, might be nieces or young people who are in your lives. Give us a call on that. What are the opportunities for sport? Is it being properly encouraged in our schools for young girls and then young women in high school? I'd love to get your feedback on that, because it is a day. I mean, we may not beat England, but I can tell you there's huge amount to celebrate in the way they've battered in the first part of this World Cup semi-final. If you've been watching, maybe you've got some thoughts on that. I'm interested to know as well, by the way, if young girls in your family are watching, people like Laura Wolfart, Chloe Tryon came in and played a fabulous innings as well. Are any of them saying to you, hey, I want to play cricket? Let's see if we can get it going in the school, or find a club that you can join. So lots to talk about there. Quite a broad range of questions I'm asking. So get in touch. 072 7021 702. It is 17 minutes past 3. Let's get out onto the roads and find out what the traffic looks like right now.
Yeah, at this stage, off to a busy afternoon, John. I must say, in Bramley, there's an accident scene on the M1 South near Kohler Drive, causing heavy delays from Marlborough Drive. Calvin Roadwork still slowing down traffic. This is on the N3 southbound between the Between Interchange and London Road, while in Devland, bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is due to roadworks on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, while in Protea Glen, also traffic heavily backed up on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. There's also slow-moving traffic. That's in the Lombardy Estate, Pretoria, on Graham Linwood Road between Boschkop Road and Solomon Mahlangu. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
I don't think particularly that it is wrong for Julius Malema to recuse himself if that's what he's done, but I would have loved for a bit of transparency. What's wrong with Julius saying to the chair of the portfolio committee, Soviet Lekhanyani, I will not be available when Shadrach Sibia is being cross-examined because I have a relationship with him, if that's the case. Or, chair, I will not be available when Kasel Matali comes here and testifies and we have to ask him questions because he is like my father and I think I'm going to be in a compromised position. Why do you not say that? No, man, come on. So what's wrong with saying, I don't think I want to be the one that sits there with Shadrach Sibia or with Kasel Matali because I'm caught in an awkward position?
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra celebrates its 25th anniversary with its spring symphony season opening with a special gala concert. It's jointly performed by the Johannesburg and KZN Philharmonic Orchestras. Concerts run from the 30th of October until the 20th of November at 7:30 p.m. each Thursday evening at the Linda Auditorium. Don't miss these memorable live performances featuring world-renowned conductors and soloists. Book your tickets through Quicket.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Steve, you moved to Momentum. Congrats.
Thanks.
It's Tasha. Listen, the fast-paced life in Josie just isn't working for me. I'm migrating to the Cape.
What does that have to do with life insurance?
Well, you know I love a glass or three. And I want to age as graciously as a smooth Merlot, not a box of car Bordeaux.
Naturally.
And I need my critical illness cover to pair with those chill vibes.
Of course. With Momentum, you get the most comprehensive critical illness cover in the market. You could say it's a full-bodied offering.
I'll toast to that.
Chat to your financial advisor about Momentum's critical illness cover. Momentum, protecting your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
At Premier Hotels and Resorts, business travelers staying alone enjoy a complimentary drink every night of their stay. So, whatever your tipple, it's on the house. at any of our 24 hotels and resorts nationwide. Book today at premierhotels.co.za.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
21 minutes past 3 on 702 Drive. How often have we spoken about the fact that, in particular, President Cyril Ramaphosa, but other members of government as well, talk about turning South Africa into a construction site, that there will be massive spending on public infrastructure. It will drive jobs, it will drive growth, and above all, it will either improve stuff that we already have, fix stuff that's broken, or perhaps even build us some new bridges and roads. That's one conversation we have, and the question that follows from it is often, well, when is this actually going to happen, given that these undertakings date all the way back 5, 6, and even 7 years? The other issue is the neglected state of the public infrastructure we already have. Well, today, Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Dean McPherson was available to brief the public, the media, first, I suppose, and through us all the way to your ears, on the outcome of a special meeting that was held between the Minister on the one hand and members of the Executive Council for Public Works and Infrastructure on the other. So, what was said? Let's find out. Lindsay Dentlinger, EWN parliamentary reporter, joins us now. Lindsay, first of all, those infrastructure sites that have either never actually been established and got going, or those that got started and then slowed down or came to a complete halt. What has the minister had to say about that? What are the reasons, and crucially, what are the remedies? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. Well, the Minister is focusing on the remedies here in Parliament this afternoon, presenting a 6-point action plan to the media here in Parliament to rectify exactly what you're saying. Minister Dean McPherson saying he's not here to sugarcoat the problems. It is a reality that, as you say, many of these projects get going and then they're either abandoned, or there's poor workmanship, or they get overtaken by construction mafia, and a whole range of problems that they are facing. But he says these problems can and will be fixed. And his 6-point plan, which includes blacklisting companies who don't deliver. He says it's only one strike and then you're out. If you don't deliver and you default on delivering on these projects, your company will be blacklisted. He has been talking to the public works departments of all the provinces so that they are on the lookout and they create lists and database of contractors who may fail to deliver in one province and then move to another under a new name, under a new company registration number, and then seek to get another contract. And he wants to put a stop to that. By March next year, he's promising that all the construction projects under the Public Works Department's watch will be on a digital database for real-time tracking of where these projects, at what stage they are at, so that there can be early risk and interventions where possible. So those are some of the proposals that he's making, and he's put deadlines to all of these actions so that they can keep a track, keep a watch, and most importantly, root out the bad apples and get the contractors who do not deliver or do not deliver appropriately to get them out of the public system completely.
Lindsay, did he give any sense of how they can ensure that people who can't deliver contracts, either because they are dishonest or they're incompetent, and there's often a rich mix of both in some of the projects that we've heard about, did he say anything about how they ensure that those people don't get the work in the first place? Because literally we're running into tens of billions now in fruitless expenditure where stuff either doesn't get done or gets done and has to be redone.
So another deadline set for that is June 2026. Everybody who applies for a government contract will have to produce their paperwork that they are registered with whichever council, be that the built environment or the other building councils that are related to producing construction, and keep a watch over those things. So they will be requiring the proper paperwork to ensure that everybody who gets a contract is suitably qualified, to avoid that poor workmanship that we often see in government projects. So that is the point that he's putting. It's actually, in fact, number 6 of that plan. The minister saying that producing and building infrastructure for the state should be an honor for contractors. They should be proud of the work that they deliver for South Africans, that they shouldn't be allowed to take public funds and just squander it.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, that would be so. But final thing, I suppose, I'm curious to understand a little bit better from you, Lindsay, is to do this, he's got to get buy-in, but above all, commitment and action at a provincial level, because every province, as I understand it, has an MEC for public works. Did the minister speak about that? Because a lot of the procurement spend doesn't take place at national level.
Yes, so this plan has the buy-in, he tells us. It's been a series of engagements, not only at the national level, but with all the provinces. And he's assured us that he has the buy-in of all the provinces, because to make the action plan work, they are really going to have to come to the party to help compile these lists and these databases of the contractors who are not delivering and who are making off with state money and abandoning sites. So it will require their input. And John, also, it's not just pointing the finger of blame at contractors, but also the minister saying that one of his action plan points is to ensure that contractors are paid on time, because that is often a reason many of them walk off site and leave projects abandoned and incomplete, is because they are not being paid on time. And the minister is looking to ensure that all provinces ring-fence the budgets that are intended for these projects, that they are not used for something else, and then the contractors do not get paid and walk off site. And that is the action point that is put in place to deal with that particular problem that also plagues construction in the public service.
Thanks so much, Lindsay Dentlinger. A very comprehensive summary of what Public Works Minister Dean McPherson and others presenting to the media had to say. I'd be very interested to know, because for every one of these projects that fails, either doesn't get off the ground, gets started, construction mafia jumps in, gets started, but the work is shoddy, gets started, but because money's been spent on all sorts of other rubbish unrelated to the actual project at hand, the contractor runs out of money. There's so much of this that goes on, and I don't need to give you chapter and verse on that. I would like to know if you experience that directly. Maybe you're a government employee and you have been told your offices, which are currently unlivable for people, not that you live at work, but you know what I mean, are going to be fixed up. Maybe you've witnessed firsthand money not being put to effective use. And perhaps you live in an area where something was meant to be fixed, a stormwater drainage system, a new road, perhaps a bridge being built. There's all sorts of stuff that you might have witnessed and that you could share with us some details of what's going on. The cricket is going rather well. I have to tell you, we made 319. England need one more than that, 1 over bowled so far. England have lost 2 wickets. Marizan Kapp is doing the business. She's bowled 2 of the English batsmen out. We'll get more details on that. Oh, is that 3? Anyway, yep, 3 wickets down, and England have 1 run on the board, although it is being reviewed. 29 minutes past 3.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for real estate agencies, law firms, computer services, and more. Jacqueline?
We saved a lot of money when we switched over from another insurance company to Business Outsurance. We've had some claims and they were friendly and efficient and paid out when they promised.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Mom, Dad, you're not gonna believe this.
What's up, bud?
Luke's family has a kitchen.
Okay.
Like a real one, with knives and a sink for dishes. His mom was just standing there, making food with her hands. There was a fridge full of vegetables, even broccoli.
Not broccoli.
Oh, the horror. Who needs a kitchen? Simply spend 200 Rand or more and you could win Simply Asia for a year. T's and C's apply. Simply Asia, connecting the Thai way.
Right, big news for Betway players. Often when you've placed some bets, you've got to top up your account, and there's now a brand new way to do exactly that. It's only at Dis-Chem. Even better, Dis-Chem Better Rewards members score an instant 10% off every Betway Bucks voucher they buy. Betway Bucks is exclusively available at Dis-Chem stores across South Africa. It's the fast, easy and secure way to fund your Betway account. No hassle, just quick convenience. Plus, if you're a Dis-Chem Better Rewards member, you'll get an automatic 10% off every single Betway Bucks purchase. Whether you're getting game day ready or just want to keep your balance topped up, it's the smart way to play. So head to Dis-Chem, grab your Betway Bucks and get way more with Betway.
Betway is licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. For gambling counseling, call SARGF on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp 076 675 0710.
Right, let's get the very latest eyewitness news. By the way, that review went in our favour. England are 3 wickets down for just one run. They need another 319 to beat us. I think we're doing rather well. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news, though, from Bali Dlamini. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Magistrates working in Cape Town say they're fed up of being treated differently from their colleagues in the higher court. Today, they took their grievances to Parliament, highlighting the frustrations with delays in implementing salary reviews. Magistrates are also frustrated over what they say is a lack of resources and work overload. Ntutuzelo Nene is at that demonstration.
Magistrates here say they do the same work as High Court judges, but they are paid significantly less. Simonstown Magistrates Denise Lepan has been on the bench for 30 years. Lepan says they want to be treated the same way as judges do.
It's just very embarrassing when you sit in a case and every attorney and every prosecutor in court earns more than the magistrate, but I'm the one who's got to give the judgment.
Exactly.
I've got to write the reasons for appeal. I'm the one whose job is on the line if I make a mistake in the case.
The group has handed over a memorandum to the Office of the Presidency and given it 2 weeks to respond. Ntutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News in Parliament.
The Johannesburg Public Safety Department is intensifying its operations in preparation for the festive season. MMC Mgcini Tswaku is briefing the media in Johannesburg today on plans for the Johannesburg Metro Police Department and emergency services. Tswaku says this update also serves as a way to inform the public of their challenges and achievements since last year November. Tswaku adds that the festive season is a critical period which is known for higher rates of crime.
We are prepared to manage this seasonal increase in criminal activity and enhance community safety. We have heard our community's concern, which range from the safety, crime, emergency services, disaster responsiveness. We want to assure our community that we are listening and we are taking proactive steps to meet their demands.
An environmental lobby group, Greenpeace Africa, says it's crunch time for Africa's mining industry. The organization released a new report today on the rush for Africa's critical minerals. The report warns that Africa's vast reserves could either drive development or further strip the continent of its resources if governance and value addition remain weak. Sub-Saharan Africa holds 30% of global critical mineral reserves, including platinum group metals and manganese. Pan-African strategist at Greenpeace Africa, Kwaile Monaheng.
This rush feels all too familiar. It echoes the historical patterns of extraction that have enriched others while impoverishing the continent, particularly the communities standing atop this wealth.
But he says the rush for critical minerals still offers an interesting opportunity for the continent.
The opportunity to rewrite the rules of engagement, to move from a model of raw resource extraction to one of value addition, to redirect fossil fuel subsidies into renewable energy infrastructure, to demand free, prior and informed consent as a non-negotiable, and to ensure that Africa's mineral wealth powers not only the global transition, but also Africa's own industrialization.
It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with scattered showers across the province. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 24 and 25 degrees.
In Midrand, heading towards Sandton, you can expect about a 30-minute delay. This is on the N1 southbound between New Road and the Batlu interchange. Bramley, we're still dealing with that accident seen M1 South near Caller Drive, causing heavy delays from Marlborough. And if you're leaving Sandton, expect some delays approaching the intersection of Greyston Drive and Catherine Street.
The top story in EWN, magistrates working in Cape Town say they're fed up of being treated differently from their colleagues in the higher courts.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9. Fiwa, what feedback do you have?
We did have a response from yesterday's big interview.
Yeah,
Thandi.
the mother of the child.
They did say they imposed a few sanctions.
Because they won't come on, St. Stithians has handled this absolutely appallingly because they won't even account to talk about their policies and whether or not those, in fact, help the kids and their families who are the victims of bullying. And I think it's a shame that they won't come on and speak and give their version.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
The all-new Audi A5 has arrived with a panoramic sunroof that changes transparency and a B&O sound system built into the headrests. Every detail makes driving feel like an art form. Visit your Audi dealership, book a test drive, and experience the Audi A5 from 14,499 Rand per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za for more. T's and C's apply. Brought to you by Audi Financial Services, a division of Volkswagen Financial Services South Africa, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
You can become a victim of a legal problem, wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Enjoy the thrill of the Soccer Punches Challenge Weekend Edition, an all-new platform from Hollywood Bets. You stand a chance to win a share of the 5 million Rand jackpot when you bet 5 Rand or more on selected EPL matches over the weekend and correctly predict 10 out of 10 winning margins. Or chase the share of the 50,000 Rand leaderboard prize. Entry is free. Let this soccer season bring sizzling success. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, Uncle John. On a rainy afternoon. Olani here from the Val. Hey, Uncle John. During my time, sports was really encouraged. There were means and ways that we would get from schools to encourage us to participate in sports. I, for one, I represented my school, both athletic and choir and soccer, provincially and also in schools. And also, I got to be the sports personality of the year in the men's category during my grade 7 times. So that's what you wish for. That's what you participate for. And that's what motivates you. Thanks, Uncle John.
Hey, Tate John and the team. Yeah, I think we should support our women in sports or young girls. I think they are doing a great job, Tate John. I think our authorities in sports like your cricket SA, your SA rugby, and even SAFA, yeah, they can do more to support our ladies because our ladies are representing our country very well. Tamin Orange Farm. Thanks.
Thanks for those calls. And if you are not too sure about what we're talking about, I was just reflecting on the fact that Banyana did brilliantly to qualify for WAFCON in Morocco. That's a tournament still coming up, of course. And our women's cricket team are really putting up an incredible show against England so far. Long way to go. But boy, have they made a start, and Tola Kelly will update you on the details in a moment. But the question I was asking, firstly for our women listeners, sport in school, were you encouraged? Were you able to sustain that interest beyond school or even beyond primary school? And if you are involved with young girls now, either as a parent or an older sister, an aunt, or whatever capacity, what's your sense of their sporting opportunities in the year 2025? In that vein, we've got a call from Nicola, who's calling us from the southern part of Joburg in the Hill. And Nicola, I believe you're going off to Australia to compete in what? Good afternoon.
Yes, hi, how are you, John, and to the listeners? Yes, we're off to, 3 of us are selected to represent the country at the World Championships in highball, man. So I know a lot of...
In what sports?
Highball.
In what?
It's pool. So it's pool.
Okay.
It's it's called it's a Chinese game that it's a couple of years now. I think four or so years.
Yes.
That they are that it's happening in our country. So I'm a multiple South African champion, and
Yes.
Also the Marina Jacobs. She's now touring the whole of Europe as we speak. They're actually on their way to Australia now for another championship. I'll be joining them in January, actually in Egypt. We're going for a couple now. But yeah, the game is quite an LZ Kun from Cape Town. So it's quite big it's just unfortunate that we don't get recognition. So I'm hoping that Dayton McKenzie is listening so that he can tap it, because we're funding ourselves.
Yes.
You know, to go and I mean, I started at the age of 9 years old with this game, and I won the South African Championships 8 times. You know, but still we just playing for the love of the game, and well, the money is good on the other side. The money is good, but I must tell you, the competition that with the ladies that they don't have to worry about the bond, the car. Play full time. So
yeah, fantastic. Well, listen,
have to worry about visas and everything like that. So yeah.
Nicola, we wish you and the other two competitors the very, very best of luck in this tournament taking place in Australia. Your stories, please, on 072 702 1702. It is coming up now for 17 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Tola Kelly, very good afternoon to you. Cricket going well so far. Give us the details.
Well, John, South Africa posted 319 for 7 in the first semi-final of the World Cup against England, as captain Lara Waldvaart top scored with 169, while Tasman Brits added 45. In the bowling, Sophie Eccleston finished with figures of 4 for 44. In response, the English are currently 10 for the loss of 3 wickets. They need 310 runs from 45.3 overs for victory. Batting is Nat Skivia-Brunt on 3 alongside Alex Capesy on 5. Over to the men's game, where Reza Hendricks hit 60 from 40 balls, while Kurban Bosch took a career best 4 for 14 to help South Africa claim a 55-run victory over host Pakistan in the first T20. In football, Banyana have qualified for the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. That follows a 2-1 aggregate win over DR Congo. Assistant coach Tina Sonkembule says despite their win, South Africa failed to play to their strengths.
I think we can't compare. We can't fight with them, with their physicality, because they're taller than us, they're stronger than us. But our strength is combination play, and at times we look good where we're on the ball. At times it worked playing behind so that the team can run, but most of the time we were playing that long ball, they were winning all those balls because of their physicality and they are strong aerially.
In the curling knockout, Orlando Pirates beat defending champions Mike Gessie 2-1 to advance to the semi-finals, where they join Richards Bay and Golden Arrows. The last quarter-final takes place tonight and will see Marumo Gallants up against Stellenbosch. For Adeslam Adu, while he was happy that his side bounced back from the CAF Champions League elimination, he's warned them about getting carried away. That's after several of his players started to showboat in the latter stages of the game.
My this big disappointment is the last 15 minutes, and it's the first time I will address that. If we want to be more ambitious, if we want to go forward, we have to stop this no sense of playing a sterile possession and to enjoy playing small passes. I think if we want to do this, we have to go to the circus. I'm not here to go to the circus or to play circus. I'm here to improve my players, to go forward, and we have to stop this nonsense.
And the Sharks have announced that John Plumtree will continue as head coach until the end of the season, after which he'll switch roles and oversee the operations as director of rugby in an advisory role to the new coach. Neil Powell will switch focus on certain key operational areas, including the junior and academy programs, player recruitment and retention. And a top-to-bottom review will also be conducted, which will include a detailed assessment of every department and function. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, let's get out onto the roads and find out what's happening. Problems in Bramley. Karabo Chale has an update on that.
Yeah, that's leaving Sandton heading towards the Joburg CBD Bramley area. Accident scene M1 southbound near Caller Drive, causing heavy delays all the way from Marlborough. Also leaving Sandton, expect some delays approaching the intersection of Greyston Drive and Catherine Street in Calvin Roadwork. Still slowing down traffic N3 south between the Between Interchange and London Road. In Midrand heading towards Sandton, there's an accident scene N1 South near Allendale, causing more than a 30-minute delay. Devland bumper-to-bumper traffic due to roadworks on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. And finally in Protea Glen, Soweto, expect more than a 20-minute delay on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. So, Tholakele, I've got two questions for you. One is your thoughts on whether we're doing enough to, give young female South Africans an opportunity in sport, introduce them in particular to new games, and you may want to reflect. But then I also want to get because we started a little, I wouldn't say disagreement, but a debate around what the Pirates coach had to say about the showboating. So, women's sport and then showboating, and I'll give you my view on that, but yours first.
I definitely think when we're all in primary school and then maybe going to grade 9 and 10 in high school, teachers, parents, scouts are all saying, everybody just play the game, have fun. But for some reason, there's just a switch once people turn like 16, 17, where the focus is on make sure the boy is given as much opportunity, as much coaching as they can so they can progress. And it's kind of like, oh no, let the girls play just for fun. And I think that attitude, a lot of people don't realize that once we get into the professional ranks, it still carries itself. It's the reason why when a Banyana play, for some reason, no one ever goes, oh guys, let's go to the stadium. But when Bafana are just in friendly action, oh, we should have a Bafana Fridays. It's like we view women's sports as just an after-school activity as opposed to it being a professional sport. That's why when a Banyana doesn't do well and we're all going, what is Safa doing? But also you as the supporter, are you going out to buy the kits? Are you going out to support the team? We all have to take that personal responsibility. When it comes to showboating, okay, so I'm from Katlehong. The thing that gets the fans excited is the shibobos, it's the everybody just all of a sudden, now that you're comfortable in winning, now you're entertaining the fans. I think if you're 3-0, 4-0 up, you can do it. But I think Wadu's big issue, because I watched the game last night, they kind of got a little bit complacent, and that's why they ended up conceding in the 94th minute. If they were maybe 5 goals up, I think he would have been a lot more kinder. The fact that they weren't as assured once they started showboating, that's the main issue. And if it already starts now, what are we in October? Wait until May. Once you secured at least like 3 more trophies, and then you can start all of a sudden playing around with it. I think Chiefs also did the same thing when they were playing in the Confed Cup game against Simba. But with them, they just needed to get the fans excited because they really had a great game that Sunday. So you can do it then when you're comfortable.
So I'll tell you why I dislike it so intensely, is the way it gives young footballers this completely false sense of what football skill is. And they think that if you can do tricks on the pitch, then somehow you are a skilled footballer. And I can tell you when our under-20 World Cup players will confirm this, as with the under-17s, when you go out into the wider world, try that stuff, you're going to get kicked into the air. So nobody must tell me there's a more skillful player on the planet, not so much now, than Leo Messi. He can do tricks with the best of them, but he applies them to beat 2 players, pull another 2 out of the defensive lineup, and either score himself or pass it to a teammate. And if you're not matching that with an absolute laser focus on technique, being able to pass the ball 40 meters across the pitch and land it on a teammate's foot, then I really worry that kids watch this and think, oh, that's a skill, that's skillful football. That's my shtick. Karabo Chale, you and I have been shaking heads at each other off air for a while.
As a South African soccer lover, we appreciate the showboating when it's necessary, when we're winning, when it's the end of the game. Maybe there's like 5 or 2 minutes left into the game. Otherwise, it is the South African culture. We look forward to those things, even if it's early in the game. I know Pule used to do it early in the game, just to get the crowd all excited, and then the game goes on, and then the confidence of the players also gets boosted. And I guess it's South African football. You just have to accept it.
It's a great debate. Well, accept it. I don't know. We can panel beat it for a bit, but I'd really love to get your views. I mean, is it something you enjoy? As you can gather, it doesn't impress me, and I love skill, applied skill in football. I hate seeing kids do that stuff. I hate seeing young players do that stuff. But that's me. Let's hear from you. 072 702 1702.
Mom, Dad, you're not gonna believe this.
What's up, bud?
Luke's family has a kitchen.
Okay.
Like a real one, with knives and a sink for dishes. His mom was just standing there, making food with her hands. There was a fridge full of vegetables, even broccoli.
Not broccoli.
Oh, the horror. Who needs a kitchen? Simply spend 200 Rand or more and you could win Simply Asia for a year. T's and C's apply. Simply Asia, connecting the Thai way.
What do partners of the Gates Foundation do when facing the world's toughest challenges? They keep going. From discovering a plastic drape that helps detect excessive postpartum bleeding faster, to developing better bed nets to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes, to researching an RSV vaccine that could save hundreds of thousands of children. For every problem, there are people who prove that progress is possible. The Gates Foundation, partners of human potential. Learn more at gatesfoundation.org/keep going.
Naked people smell expensive because naked people spend less money on insurance premiums and more money on fancy French colognes. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
So we were talking about the state of public infrastructure, and I asked you some questions about what your experience has been on big public infrastructures in the communities where you live, because it's one to get the overview from the minister, and it's important and it's interesting to get that big picture. But how it affects you in your community is an important perspective that I want to get. Angie says the Rand Airport Road, for over 10 years, people were trying to get the road retarred. In June of this year, the Joburg Roads Agency came and scraped the entire road and just left it like that because, and now she puts this in quotes, the funds were reallocated elsewhere. And then back to her words, it's now essentially a 5-kilometer dirt road with massive holes. And we've got a reflection from the southwestern part of Gauteng as well, from Madala, who says, just go to Beckersdal in Western area, West Rand. You'd be amazed to see what exactly has happened to the best, clean, taken care of and beautiful township. Money was given, 1.2 billion Rand, in the urban renewal project era, again by a recent provincial government under Panyaza Lesufi. There's an upgrade of the sewer system now, but the township is a mess as the roads were uprooted and muddy. The provincial and district officials should do something about that. Sounds like they had money to do something about that. It would seem that it hasn't been done. But I've never been out there, out to Beckersdal. If you live there, maybe you've got a view. 072 702 1702, 6 minutes to 4.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
When you've looked cancer in the eye, you see the world differently. Thanks to the Dis-Chem Foundation, we're about to hear the incredible story of how breast cancer survivor and head of outreach at Holy Rosary School, Yvette Bibis, is turning her journey into purpose by helping to raise awareness about the importance of sight and access through reading glasses for those who need them most. So let's pick up this conversation and welcome, first of all, 2702 Drive, Yvette Bibis, joining us from Holy Rosary School and Head of Outreach. A very good afternoon to you and welcome.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me here today.
Tell us what made you focus on reading glasses.
So I am the head of outreach at school, and one day in the staff room we were just talking about how many children and even adults are wearing glasses they never wore before.
Yes.
And then we started saying how lucky we were in our community that if we needed to have our eyes examined, we could just go to the optometrist and get a pair of glasses and it would be easy. And that's where we started. We just thought helping others who can't afford it. And we started looking for an NGO, and we came across Lens of Hope in Cape Town. And they collect old frames, they refurbish them, and they give them to people who can't afford to buy their own. So we were excited about that. That was our project. So we put it out, and what started off as a small community project. Within 2 weeks of us starting, it just went countrywide. I had people phoning me from Durban North, from White River, retirement villages, all over the show.
Yes.
And we decided we need to really do this. So we set our target at 8,500 pairs of frames, which is huge, but our school's 85 years old this year. So it was a good thing, 100 pairs of glasses for every year. And it just took off. And we've already, today we started, we counted today, what we've got on our premises at the moment are 4,200 pairs of glasses.
Well, whether you make 8.5 or not, 4.2 is an extraordinary achievement. I set the scene by describing how you've had your own very, very difficult health journey. How's that informed what you've decided to go out and do as Holy Rosary Head of Outreach?
Well, it's always been a passion of mine to do outreach. So it's just made me more aware, obviously, of things that can go wrong because you think everything's fine. But what I do think is that people shouldn't wait until they've had a scare or they've had something. We should all do our little bit now because you never know. And if everyone does a little bit in their community, eventually it just gets something big. So it has encouraged me to be more aware, but also it's something that I love and I've done for a long time.
Well, you're partnering in this, as I mentioned as well, with the Dis-Chem Foundation. Jacqueline Karlberg joining us, as she always does, in these conversations from the foundation. I mean, you support many kinds of projects. I'm sure you get lots and lots of requests or things come into your in-tray in one form or another, but this caught your eye. Why?
Well, as you see, I also wear glasses.
Okay.
But it is something I'm very passionate about. I think so many children, especially, and adults as well, aren't aware that they can't see. They just don't know. And I've seen the gift of eyesight happening for people that couldn't see and what it does for them. So when I did hear about this, I jumped onto it and wanted to highlight what the school is doing. And by the way, this is not the only fantastic work they do, and the Dis-Chem Foundation is very much looking forward to getting involved in their future projects as well. But eyesight's important.
Mention a couple. I mean, what else do they do?
They do. I'm going to let Yvette speak to that because she can better than I.
Please, yeah.
So we do have our regular outreach projects we do every year, and then once we have a big one every year. So this year was the Lens of Hope. Last year we were encouraging the girls to stay off their cell phones and
I remember that. Yes, we had that on our show. Yeah.
And then that resulted into the girls crocheting and knitting, not from our point of view, something they just love to do. And we had a knit-a-thon, and we collected money. And from the money we collected, we managed to pay for 2 children who had congenital heart disease, that they could have it fixed at a young age. So that was our big project last year. And this year it's the lenses. And
Well, if you can get them to stay off their phones for longer, they won't need the glasses quite as
Exactly.
early and as soon. But just finally, Jacqueline, I mean, the idea of these small projects aggregating into something bigger, and that's a strong message you've always come with from the Dis-Chem Foundation, that actually you can do things that are meaningful, that don't have to be huge. I think a lot of ideas get stuck because somehow the word million pops into people's heads, and the perfect is often the enemy of the good.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that analogy more. And to see a school and being led by somebody who's so clearly passionate about making a difference and encouraging these young children to give back to the world and to care, that resonates enormously.
Yeah,
with myself and with the Dis-Chem Foundation.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, actually, because seeds are getting planted not just for the beneficiaries, but the people who are being encouraged to give. Could become a habit of a lifetime. Thank you to you both, and well done on the work you're doing. Good luck with the work you are still to do. Yvette Bibis joining us from Holy Rosary School. She's head of outreach. As always, Jacqueline Karlberg with us from the Dis-Chem Foundation. Now, what about you? Remember that every swipe of your Dis-Chem Better Rewards card helps support the incredible work of the Dis-Chem Foundation. If you're not a member, visit dischem.co.za to find out how you can join the Dis-Chem Better Rewards program. Every swipe counts. This is 702 Drive. It's 4 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The ANC brings Rasool back to the top ranks of its Western Cape structures, and another Hawks official on the stand at the Madlanga Commission. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. We begin with news just in. The ANC has announced the return of Ibrahim Rasool to the top Western Cape structure, naming him the convener of the newly formed Provincial Task Team. This is part of a move to reconfigure the Provincial Executive Committee after a poor electoral showing in last year's general elections. The ANC only managed 19.5% of the Western Cape vote in the hotly contested polls. ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula met with the PEC today amid months of speculation on a possible dissolution of the top provincial structure. Speaking at a media briefing in Cape Town a short while ago, Mbalula says a reshuffle of the party's Western Cape leadership is needed to strengthen its renewal drive. Mbalula says talks are still ongoing with Rasool, who served as chairperson of the ANC in the Western Cape in 1998 and as the former ambassador to the United States.
But this task is not a full-time position. So he have requested us, among others, to look at this situation, and he will revert back to us about his decision. But the decision of the ANC is that he will convene this particular team.
Mbalula says the move does not constitute a dissolution.
The end goal is to strengthen the ANC in the Western Cape, and that's what we are doing. So we have not taken a drastic decision to dissolve anyone. We have reconfigured the leadership.
Let's shift our focus to Pretoria now, where a third witness has taken the stand at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. This time, it's another Hawks officer. Captain Barry Kruger, who serves under the Hawks' Tactical Operations Unit, is now giving evidence before the Commission. Kruger is providing further details about the Hawks' presence during the arrest of alleged criminal mastermind Katiso Katie Molefe in December of last year. Hawks officials are accused of trying to stop the political killings task team from arresting Molefe during a takedown operation at his Sandton home. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
Earlier today, the head of the Hawks' Tactical Operations Division, Brigadier Lesiba Mokoena, told the Madlanga Commission that he had sent Captain Barry Kruger to Katiso Katie Molefe's home on December 6th. Mokoena said he deployed Kruger to verify claims that individuals posing as Hawks officers were attempting to obstruct Molefe's arrest. Kruger has told the Commission that he did not know the house belonged to Molefe, but went there on his superior's instruction.
I then got a phone call from my Brigadier Mokoena informing me that I had to go to address I did not know and to verify if there was a legit police operation, as people were saying that they are from the Hawks and it was not our team involved there.
The Hawks find themselves in the hot seat following allegations made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who claims that former Hawks head Godfrey Lebeya attempted to prevent Molefe's arrest. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
At the same time, the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee probing allegations of police corruption has recommended the removal of several people from its lengthy witness list. The committee was briefed today on its witness list, which contains more than 30 individuals who are expected to give evidence before the committee concludes in November. Evidence leader Advocate Norman Arendse says some witnesses may no longer need to appear because the committee has enough information. Babalondenze has more.
The ad hoc committee is meeting today to sort out its lengthy witness list of at least 34 names before today's meeting. The committee is preparing for its next witnesses following the conclusion of Deputy Minister Castle Matale's evidence yesterday. Evidence leader Advocate Norman Arnser says the committee doesn't have to bother with some witnesses.
There's some other witnesses we of the view are not either necessary or that there's a need for them to give us information.
But he says Minister Senzo Mkunu's Chief of Staff Cedric Nkabinde is relevant after being fingered in police interference.
Nkabinde, the name has cropped up repeatedly, is an important witness, and we've proposed calling Nkabinde on 13 and 14 November.
The committee also wants Brown Mohozi to appear to answer allegations that he tried to influence the disbandment of the political killings task team. Babalo Ndanza, Eyewitness News.
Let's stay in the Western Cape. 2 inmates have died following violence which broke out at the Polsmoor Remand Correctional Facility. Earlier today, there were reports of violence at that facility with attacks directed at officials. The Department of Correctional Services says that the 2 inmates died during efforts to contain the situation. Spokesperson Singabako Nxumalo.
The incident involved a stabbing attack directed at the officials, prompting the use of force in an attempt to restore order. Calm has since been restored at the facility and the injured have been transported to hospital for medical treatment.
And U.S. President Donald Trump says a trade deal has been reached with South Korea. He told a dinner, including Korean leaders, that the deal was pretty much finalized. In July, Trump said Washington had agreed to cut tariffs on South Korean imports to 15% in exchange for a $350 billion investment pledge. But steep auto tariffs remained in place, and the 2 governments were divided over the structure of the investment pledge.
And we had a tremendous meeting today with South Korea. I think the meeting a lot was determined, very much determined, and we made our deal. We pretty much finalized a trade deal, and we discussed some other things having to do with national security.
Gold is trading at $4,025.76 an ounce. The rand is at 17.12 to the dollar, 22.63 to the pound, 19.93 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.40 a barrel.
Protea Glen Soweto expect about a 20-minute delay. N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558, leaving Sandton. Also heavy delays. This is on Catherine Street between Sandton Drive and Greyston. Bramley, we're still dealing with that accident scene, M1 South near Kohler Drive, causing heavy delays all the way from Marlborough Drive.
In your sport, Lotta Voltbad's century helped South Africa post 319 for 7 in their World Cup semi-final against England. Tembi Kgatlana scores the winner as Banyana seal WAFCON qualification. And Adeslam Madu cautions his Orlando Pirates players against showboating.
A cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Joburg dropping to overnight lows of 15 degrees, peaking at 24. Pretoria 17 and 26 and Vereeniging 14 and 25 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The ANC has announced the return of Ibrahim Rasool to the top Western Cape structure, naming him the convener of the newly formed provincial task team.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive. It's great to have you with us on this Wednesday, the middle of the week. Some of you already making your way home. I would hope from work we will make sure that we'll give you the very latest and clearest traffic news that you need. Karabo Chale coming your way with that shortly. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk at some length about the action being taken, magistrates in the Western Cape taking to the streets, part of a much larger dispute where magistrates feel they are being treated very poorly in relation to judges. Some of the issues are around salaries, but it's not just about that. Ian Cox is president of the Association of Regional Magistrates of Southern Africa. He joins us to give us their perspective in about 4 or 5 minutes' time. Keep you updated on the cricket. Fantastic effort so far by the women's Proteas team. England currently 42 for 3, chasing 320. As I keep saying, a long way to go, but we're off to a good start. Tolekele Mganga with us at about 20 minutes to 5. Speaking of sports, some of you responding to the conversation we got started about showboating in South African football, and was the Pirates coach in criticizing his players for doing exactly that, who got us talking about this topic. I'll read a couple of your contributions in just a moment. I see we got lots of voice notes on that, by the way, so let's get to them as soon as we can. And then your car. You bought a car, you thought the deal looked good, all the finance made sense, until it didn't. Paul Rulofse will help you better understand either the situation you're in, or more, hopefully, a situation you can maybe avoid. That's Mind Your Money. Coming up at 10 to 5. Let's do some showboating.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Afternoon, Uncle John. Myself, I'm also not a fan of showboating. Eh? I don't like it. I really don't like it. Like as you said, you know, if you can't beat players, you know, you showboat and you pass back to the keeper. No, man.
Hi, Ntate John. With this conversation of showboating, I feel like you've hit the nail on the head. Whenever anyone asks me who's a better player between Ronaldo and Messi, I always say Messi purely because of he's mastered the art of basics. He doesn't go around doing funny, exotic stuff. He just goes around and he's mastered the basics of ball control and all of that. And I feel like that's the most important thing when it comes to football. So I feel like you've hit the nail on the head. Fully agree with you, Ntate John.
Yeah, thanks for those. I mean, listen, Ronaldo mastered the basics as well. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Messi, but Ronaldo, an absolutely remarkable player. Here's one more from Kai, who says, I believe it's a trend that was developed by legends, Ace, Nsolengwe, Jomo, Dr. Kumalo Tebza, perhaps referring to Tebogo Moloi, of SA football. I mean, all of those players, this is me commenting now, were the masters of applied skill. Yes, they maybe did some tricks and so on, but they got the business done. They won games with those things. He says as well, it was called shoeshine football. I don't think so. Shoeshine was part of the great Sundowns teams of Stanley Shabalala. Piano and shoeshine, I didn't know that term applied more widely. If I'm wrong, happy to be corrected. However, it's lacking the attention from the technical staff, but appreciated by fans. This, for me, is the great misunderstanding that I think Kai is putting out there. Just like the Brazilian samba identity in football, Ronaldinho is a great example. You do not see the great Brazilian players doing that stuff. They applied their skills, and Ronaldinho, I agree, is a great example, but not of that. He was a great example of using trickery and ability with the ball to win games, to beat players, to open up space for teammates. Maybe I'm wrong about Brazilian football. Maybe I don't watch enough of it. I've never seen that from Brazilian national teams. And that's where I think we misunderstand skill in this country. So, we like the Brazilians. Well, win 4 World Cups and perhaps we can talk. 13 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, let's find out what's happening out on the roads. No time for showboating when the traffic thickens up. Karabo Chale.
Yeah, well, at this stage, John, if you are leaving the Sandton area, expect some delays on Catherine Street between Sandton Drive and Greyston. There's also roadworks causing delays on the N3 southbound between the Patlu Interchange and London Road. That's in the Calvin Alex area. In Glen Austin, Midrand, traffic sluggish on Allendale Road between Old Pretoria Road and Mastiff, while in Protea Glen, Soweto, you can expect about a 20-minute delay. This is on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. In Centurion, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N14. This is N14 westbound. This is between the R55 and the Brakfontein interchange due to an earlier accident in the opposite direction. Heading into Pretoria, there's also slow-moving traffic on the N1 northbound. That's between John Foster and the R21 Flying Saucer interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Can you share with us, Lira, in terms of some of the things you've had to change in your life, not just because you have the stroke and it affected things like your speech, but because now you know what you know and you don't want to get to that place of getting hit by a stroke again?
It's important for me to manage my stress. I feel that calming down my stress levels is better for my recovery. So I take time to exercise and I eat well and I take slow mornings and I do the things that I love to do. So I keep stress away daily by doing that.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
For over a decade, Aluma Capital has had one simple mission: to help you secure the financial future you deserve. Over the past 10 years, they've empowered thousands of clients with personalized strategies, expert advice, and impressive returns of up to 13.2%. Whether it's growing wealth, securing retirement, or planning for the unexpected, Aluma Capital is there every step of the way. Visit aluma.co.za today. Aluma Capital is a licensed FSP. T's and C's apply.
Josie, my Josie, a city made of swag, passion, and resilience. Over here, we rise with the sun. Namateksi. We are a city of doers, creators, and believers. When we unite, yonke into iyahlangana. From corner offices to corner veggie stalls or corner pre-chat and receipt. Josie, my Josie, a city where even those who were not born here are made here. Yabona la, citizenship is awarded to the curious. There's magic and beauty in our city, so we call on everyone to come experience it. Babiza bonke to come see Josie and all its people, because this city is all of us. Come witness our citizens do it. Babiza bonke to come see the actions of the invisibles. Those building our city from the ground up, so we have a home we can all proudly call Josie, my Josie. Visit josiemyjosie.com to see how Josie does it.
The milk steamer was loud, so loud that Lungi heard hot milk instead of oat milk. It was bad.
So bad.
The milk didn't really sit right with the lactose intolerant customer. It was bad.
So bad.
Too bad they didn't have Yoko Counter. With Yoko Printer, orders flow straight to the barista.
So good.
Yoko Counter. Super simple POS and payments in one. No contracts, no hidden costs.
It's happening right now. Swiper by Absa Rewards and 702 could make you win big. All you have to do is shout "Swiped" and lock in up to 25,000 Rand cash. And if you're an active Absa Rewards member, you'll win a 5,000 Rand bonus and go into the draw for a brand new Jayco J5 Vortex plus 3 months of premium car insurance from Absa Insurance. Send hashtag Absa Swiper Rewards to 067-384-0022 and 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa could call you next. Your story matters. Absa. Absa is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's available at primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Two quick things before we get into our next interview. I said Brazil won the World Cup 4 times. It is, in fact, 5. Some of you shaking your head. You're going on about football and you get a number like that wrong. 5 World Cup wins. Earlier, we spoke to the Holy Rosary school out in Edenvale, and they're driving to get glasses frames so that they can make spectacles available for people who can't necessarily afford them. And they just asked us to mention, if you have anything to offer in that regard, you can drop it off at any Jetline store anywhere in the country. So if that's something you would like to contribute to, that's how you do it. 4:19.
John Perlman
on 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Now, even though this happened in Cape Town, this is an issue that's been bubbling across the country, and it's been going on for quite a while. Down in Cape Town, magistrates took to the streets to protest at what they say is the unfair differential treatment that they get compared to judges in higher courts. It's a frustration that has been out there for a long time. It's been the subject of litigation against the president of the country. And to understand exactly what's at stake here and understand it better, we're joined now by Ian Cox. He's president of an organization called the Association of Regional Magistrates of Southern Africa, known as AMSA. Mr. Cox, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time. Is this just about money, or is there more on the table than that? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John, and to all your listeners. John, salary is one of our major concerns, obviously, but there are other concerns also. For example, we still belong to the GEPF, which is a government employees fund, and where we don't have any chairs or sittings or representation on the board of trustees, with lack of security, the leave dispensation, transfer policies, and also the narrative of a single judiciary. You know, the narrative of a single judiciary is now also old news, but it's not mirrored from the top to the bottom, if I can say that. And that's what we're asking. We're asking that whatever the judges get, for example, is also transferred to us, so that we can have more or less the same benefits and so on. So it's not just salaries.
So the Commission for the Remuneration of Public Office Bearers, as I understand it, last October, so a year or just over a year ago, recommended a substantial salary increase for magistrates, salaries up to 1.56 million a year. That hasn't been implemented. Presumably, you would have made some inquiries, either robustly or more politely, but what answers are you getting? I mean, you probably would have thought decision made, where's the money?
Yes, of course. What transpired was that we as ARMSA had taken the president to court, and we litigated on the issue of the major review. Around about August, we were in court. And ultimately, we had to withdraw our action because the president, in the meantime, without informing us, has indeed referred the recommendations made by the RC back to them. And it's actually coincidentally that there was a meeting today, earlier this morning, that we attended with the Select Committee on Security and Justice. The IRC was then reporting to them as to what transpired. And the frustrating thing, John, is that we were informed during this meeting that we would have to wait another 3 to 4 weeks before the matter is, in fact, once again referred back to the president, and whereafter he must make his decision. So nothing is going to happen this year. They did nothing about our cost of living adjustment for the year. So you can just imagine the frustration.
I couldn't help noticing, Mr. Cox, that I called you AMSA and you called yourself ARMSA. So for mense wat Afrikaans praat will think maybe that's the that's the name you use when you are negotiating on salaries. But let me ask you this. I mean, some people who, maybe have perhaps a passing knowledge of the courts would say judges earn more because judges are probably people who were magistrates and have moved up the ranks. They handle much more complex matters. A perception perhaps of a magistrate doing a whole lot of bail hearings, maybe dealing with lesser crimes compared to somebody who's got to deal with a 3 or 4 year murder trial and all its complexities, or even more complex, some of the stuff that comes up in the course of white collar crime. I mean, is there not a good reason why judges in the higher courts should earn more?
I agree they should earn more. Nobody said that we wanted to earn exactly the same as them. I agree that they must earn more because, and the argument of our previous Minister of Justice was that we can't get certain benefits because the judges actually create precedent. And so there should be a difference between a judge and, for example, a regional court magistrate. But I just want to correct you on one thing.
Yes.
I do agree that the judges in many instances handle the complex matters, but so do we in the regional courts, because we have the same jurisdiction. We do murder trials, we do child rapes, we do all of those things. The civil courts are very different, but as far as criminal courts are concerned, we do exactly the same work. Exactly.
Okay, well, we'll watch the issue with a great deal of interest. Thank you for your perspective. Ian Cox is president of the Association of Regional Magistrates of Southern Africa, which I will now properly call ARMSA. If you are a magistrate, or you've been a magistrate, or perhaps you're a lawyer, or someone who works in the courts in whatever capacity, let's get your perspective as well. Maybe as somebody involved in the law, you might have stepped into both regional magistrates courts, and the higher courts. I would guess across your career, you would have done all that. What's your take on this? Are magistrates poorly treated? Certainly, they feel that once there was an undertaking to improve their conditions, that should have been honored. But it's an important story, and if it goes on for a while, well, if the court proceedings are in any way disrupted, then we'll certainly find ourselves talking about it again. But your thoughts for now. 072 702 1702, 25 past 4.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Chapman's Peak Drive remains closed off to traffic. This is for alien vegetation clearing. If you come across any other traffic issues, behave.
Out, all of you vegetarians, out!
Please, WhatsApp us
Meat
on.
only. Eat the meat.
Can I finish, please?
Carrot, cabbage, broccoli, some vegetables for you and me.
The Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Don't just hear the roar, feel it live. DP World Lions are unleashing their legacy of champions in the explosive T20 Challenge. The pride of Jozi, the Lions, are ready to pounce on Boland in their season opener at the DP World Wanderers Stadium. Sunday 2 November at 2 p.m. Feel the thrill of smashing sixes, stunning catches, and nail-biting finishes. Get your tickets today at Ticket Pro or visit the DP World Lions website. Don't miss the action. Be part of the legacy.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch, introducing the King of Power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just 169 Rand a month over 36 months or 4,999 Rand at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. So, resources in trouble, resources barreling their way back rather vigorously and robustly. An interesting day so far.
Indeed, John. Yes, good afternoon to you. Look, a lot's going on around interest rates in the US. We expect another cut there to be announced tonight. I think that's a factor. Also, the US President Donald Trump announcing what he says seems to be the finalization of a deal with South Korea. That's a trade deal. And then, of course, he's due to meet the Chinese leader, Xi Jinping, tomorrow. So everyone watching all of that very closely. There is some domestic action here too. The JSE All Share up 0.2% at 110,537 points. Financials down 0.64. Industrials down 0.09. And resources actually up 10%, John. So platinum and gold both up very strongly. I think part of it is just that little bit of uncertainty that people are looking at. Momentum's down nearly 2.5%. Sasol down 2.38. Now, We Buy Cars are down 2.36. We spoke to the CEO of We Buy Cars yesterday. They were down nearly 14%. 2% on the day. They seem to have stopped the losses for now after that lower than expected earnings report that they put out yesterday. Investec down 2.2% to 91, down 1.8, and Discovery down 1.73. Valterra Platinum up 6.33% on the day. They confirmed last night they've been able to get production running smoothly again at the lower section of the Amandelbult mine. That's after that intense flooding there in February. Also, Bloomberg reporting Angola's gem producer, Idiema EP, wants to buy a majority stake in De Beers. Anglo is selling De Beers. They want to sell their 85% stake in De Beers. It does seem Botswana, and two former De Beers executives are keen to put in offers as well. Glencore's up 5.59. They had a strong production update today. Kumba, after their report yesterday, they're up 4.85, while Northam is up 4.42. And then Anglo Gold, Sibanye, and some of the other platinum and gold miners up quite strongly on the day too. The poultry producer Astral saying they expect their headline earnings per share to be up by between 5 and 15%, an increase in the number of broilers slaughtered and an increase in sales. Their per unit production costs are better as well. In the US, the Federal Reserve expected to cut interest rates tonight. They are making their decision without all the numbers they would normally have, John, because of the US federal government shutdown. Then also, we've obviously watching the situation in Asia with the US president there. The Dow Jones is up 0.49%. The Nasdaq is up 0.64%. The S&P 500 is up 0.34% at the moment. Looking at gold is stronger today at $4,016.91. Platinum, $1,601.27. And Brent crude, $64.12. The rand stronger too. I think possibly interest rate expectations in the US, 17.11. To the euro, 19.91. To the British pound, 22.60. On the Money Show tonight, John, we have the acting CEO of Air Traffic Navigation Services.
Good. That's going to be interesting.
I know you've been hot on the story of that. So we'll have the acting CEO, Matome Moholola, in the studio. We expect just after 6 o'clock. Stephen Crudis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Definitely looking forward to that. 29 minutes to 5. Let's get the latest eyewitness news.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Joburg Mayor Dada Morero is in the firing line once again after minority parties in council filed a motion of no confidence against him. The Al Jamar Party, UDM and ATM have submitted a motion for Morero's removal despite previously being part of the ANC-led coalition government. The parties claim Morero failed to deliver on urgent service delivery needs of residents and failed to provide decisive leadership. UDM councillor Yongama Zikepe says Morero hasn't proven that he's not the best candidate for the job.
Under Dada Morero's tenure, Johannesburg experienced one of its most difficult periods of administrative instability and service delivery collapse. Among the most serious are national and provincial interference in the city's internal appointments. That is the ANC, of course, especially the appointment of the city manager.
Parliament's Public Works Committee has slammed the department for failing to table the forensic report of an independent investigation into an oxygen supply tender. Today, MPs took a dim view of intentions to present them with a summary of that report, saying they are repeatedly being undermined by the department. In a letter to the committee, Minister Dean McPherson says releasing the report will compromise ongoing actions that flow from it. But committee chairperson Carol Peary has hit back, saying the minister has already made findings known through the media and is treating the committee with disdain. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
What was supposed to be a presentation of a forensic report compiled by PricewaterhouseCoopers into a more than 800 million rand oxygen plant tender turned into a 2-hour-long tongue-lashing from MPs to the department. The ANC's Sipho Mshlangu.
The way the minister has seen the report, we want to see the report and make our own conclusion.
Action SA's Malebo Kobe.
If we ask as a portfolio committee for a forensic report, that's exactly what we should get. And if we don't get it, do not make an appearance.
Deputy Minister Sihle Sikalala was at pains to explain that releasing the report could jeopardize disciplinary matters and criminal investigations.
Because if we don't follow procedures, we will compromise processes. That will be dereliction of duty.
But Chairperson Carol Peary was having none of it, saying she would write to the Speaker to complain about a repeated lack of cooperation from the department to table documents on time. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And in Tanzania, protests broke out today with hundreds of young people tearing down banners of President Samia Suluhu Hassan, as well as burning down a police station. The East African country went to the polls today in elections where the main challengers have either been jailed or barred from standing. Police fired tear gas but were forced to retreat as the protesters pelted them with stones. In a statement on X, internet watchdog NetBlocks reported a nationwide disruption to internet connectivity. Polling stations in Dar es Salaam were virtually empty today, despite being busy at that time during previous elections. A cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Lows of between 14 and 17 degrees and highs of between 24 and 26.
Sunwood Park roadworks causing about a 20-minute delay. This is on the N17 eastbound between Osborne and Carnival City. Leaving Sandton, you can still expect heavy delays on Catherine Street between Sandton Drive and Grayston. And there's also bumper-to-bumper traffic Midrand. This is on the N1 southbound between New Road and the Butlu interchange.
The top story in EWN, Joburg Mayor Dada Morero is in the firing line once again after minority parties in council filed a motion of no confidence against him.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
I don't think particularly that it is wrong for Julius Malema to recuse himself if that's what he's done, but I would have loved for a bit of transparency. What's wrong with Julius saying to the chair of the portfolio committee, Soviet Lekhanyani, I will not be available when Shadrach Sibia is being cross-examined because I have a relationship with him, if that's the case. Or, chair, I will not be available when Kasel Matali comes here and testifies and we have to ask him questions because he is like my father and I think I'm going to be in a compromised position. Why do you not say that? No, man, come on. So what's wrong with saying, I don't think I want to be the one that sits there with Shadrach Sibia or with Kasel Matali because I'm caught in an awkward position.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
55-year-old Stefan isn't one to waste money, and his car insurance premium with Outsurance proves it. For his 2024 Suzuki Jimny, he now pays only 611 Rand a month. And Outsurance made 57-year-old Sabina feel like a winner in her 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLA with a low premium of only 1,276 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS OUT to 45142 today. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Hey Queens, listen up. It's time for the 5th annual Nomzamo Lighthouse Foundation Empowering Her Seminar and Business Awards. Proudly powered by the Hollywood Foundation, and we're calling on your entries. From township startups to industry-defining pioneers, the Empowering Her Awards celebrate the very best of SA's business minds, and now it's your turn to shine. Are you a woman who's passionate and committed to building a business that's changing your community? Are you looking to inspire other women just like you to dream beyond their limits? Well, this is just the right avenue for you. Visit www.hollywoodfoundation.co.za to submit your entry before 31 October 2025 and make the world your stage. T's and C's apply.
Who says everyday driving can't be très chic? Rent premium with Sani Sixt now. Own the stylish Citroen C3 later. Yes, that's 3 cars, 3 months, 3 chances to say ooh la la. Just book directly on sani.co.za, call us or rent at any branch between 1 November and 31 January, and you're automatically entered into the draw. Bon voyage with Sani Sixt and win. T's and C's apply.
The G20 Summit coming to Johannesburg is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
My name is Yumna Bukas, community activist based in Bertrams. I transform bad spaces in the community into productive vegetable gardens and provide provide for local soup kitchens, schools, and the needy.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
And Josie My Josie, Babi Zebonke champion Mama Yumna will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast with Gugs Mhlungu just after 9 a.m. on Saturday morning.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Yeah, hi, John. You know, John, there's something that I don't understand about some of our ex-players and coaches here. It is very funny. This thing of showboating has been there from long ago. I think you, John, you know, when you're still a sport journalist, you used to have the guys like your Asim Ninis, you used to have your Zero Mukhalis, we used to have your Vosa Computer Lamula, we used to have the list is endless. The funny part of it, when it's being done by a Brazilian soccer player, we go, wow, he's a marvel to watch. When it's being done here by our own players here, now they are wasteful, they are being disrespectful. Ah, man, come on. Come December, the very same agents and coaches, they'll be coming to the township, the very same township tournaments whereby showboating is done. They'll be coming there to scout. This is Tebogo from Katlehong.
Hi there, John. Showboating is part and parcel of South African soccer, also Brazilian, and I mean all the great leagues out there. We always have a showboat, a guy that makes the fans happy. The stadium comes alive. We understand that, yes, there are tactics to a game, but most of the time we're there to enjoy the game. So yes, showboating should remain part of the game. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try and keep my disagreeability in check, but I will say one thing. When we see a Brazilian do it, we say it's skill. And when we see a South African do it, we say it is disrespectful and wasteful. Please, somebody, send me a Brazilian equivalent of that. I'm not saying you don't see spectacular skill all the way back into the late 50s with Garrincha, all the way through Pele, into Jairzinho and all the great Brazilian players. Skill and beauty in abundance. But I've never seen them do those kind of tricks, stand on the ball, all that kind of stuff, and crucially, beat their man and then come back and so they can beat them again. If someone can show me the great Brazilians doing that, I will be pleased. Send me an email on that. I'll give you the email address. Videos, please. I'm happy to watch them. 702 Drive. I like this argument. It's fun. It's 18 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
So Tolakele, I think the showboating battle is currently locked in a 3-all draw, but how's the cricket going?
Well, John, England have been set a victory target of 320 to win their World Cup semi-final against South Africa. They're currently at the crease on 99 for the loss of 3 in the 22nd over. They still need 221 more runs for victory. Batting is Alex Capesy on 49 alongside Nat Skevier-Brunt on 45. Earlier, the Proteas women had posted 319 for 7 as Captain Lara Valkvar top scored with 169, while Tasman Brits added 45. Switching to football, where Tina Soke Mbule believes that Banyana will need to improve their goal scoring if they're to be title contenders at WAFCON. They secured their spot at next year's tournament after a Tembi Khatlana goal secured them a 1-0 win in yesterday's second round qualifier. They progressed 2-1 on aggregate.
Our offensive plan was that we must finish the action because Ikemiabo is based on transition. So most of the time when we are in the final third, a decision is wrong, they win the ball and then they get behind us. So the message for the whole week, it has been that let's add numbers in the box, let's just finish the action by a shot at goal or finish the action by scoring or a goal kick or a corner.
The last curling knockout quarter-final takes place tonight as Marumo Gallants host Stellenbosch. The winner will join Orlando Pirates, Richards Bay and Golden Arrows in the semi-finals. Steve Barker's Chargers are looking to build on an impressive week, having reached the group stages of the CAF Confed Cup.
The travel is not easy, we can't run away from it, but at the end of the day, I've always said that if we want to be competing in CAF, then it comes with the territory that you are going to be playing more regularly, and we just have to actually embrace it, take the challenge up. It's more matches that we play, so it means everybody gets more minutes. Hopefully we can manage Wednesday and get ourselves into another semi-final, which I think again would be a remarkable achievement considering how many semi-finals we've been getting into in the last couple of years.
Rassie Erasmus has named his Springbok team to tackle Japan on Saturday. Zachary Porthen will make his debut, while Kurtley Arendse, Franco Mostert and Luat Diaga reclaim their places in the starting 15. Erasmus admits that his team selections will change throughout the tour, as he stressed the importance of continuity.
I think continuity is obviously something that builds confidence. I wouldn't say everybody that's on tour here, we can guarantee that they will play this on this end of year tour, because playing the teams that we are playing, it's quite important that we keep momentum, and we'll definitely select every weekend the team that we think can win that specific match. But yes, the teams will change for sure.
And American President Donald Trump's granddaughter, Kaya Trump, will make her LPGA Tour debut next month. The teenager has received a sponsor's exemption to play at the Anika at the Pelican Golf Club. That's from the 13th until the 16th of November. She's the eldest daughter of Donald Trump Jr. and is committed to play golf at the University of Miami in 2026. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Right, let's get the very latest from the roads. This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Problems in Midrand? Karabo Chali has the details.
Yeah, that's heading towards the Sandton area. Expect about a 20-minute delay. N1 South, this is between New Road and the Battery Interchange. Also leaving Sandton, heading towards the M1. Expect heavy delays. This is on Catherine Street, between Sandton Drive and Grayston. Calvin roadwork still causing about an hour delay. N3 southbound between the Battery Interchange and London Road. Sunwood Park, Boxburg roadworks also causing about a 20-minute delay. N17 eastbound between Osborne Road and Carnival City. Glen Austin, Midrand, traffic sluggish on Allendale Road between Old Pretoria Road and Mastiff, while in Protea Glen we still have bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. In Tshwane, Centurion, slow-moving traffic. N1 North between John Foster and the R21 Flying Saucer Interchange. And finally, if you're leaving the Pretoria CBD, traffic heavily backed up in Hermanstad on Eskiam Pahlele between Vomhagen and the R18. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car full of groceries and a lady who will be attempting to make her mother-in-law's famous recipe for the family dinner tonight. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's butterflies and a potential bonding moment. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005, in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. So, a very interesting story. The Competition Commission is getting involved in an investigation or preparing to investigate claims that the French media giant Canal Plus that has now taken control of MultiChoice. The Competition Commission is investigating claims that the company is involved in major cost cutting. There have been allegations that Canal Plus has suspended payments to suppliers, is demanding a 20% discount, and on a very basic level, some staff there are telling people in the media that these cuts are resulting in them, for example, being left short of toilet paper due to non-payment to the suppliers. So it's getting pretty gritty in that particular corporate space, but it raises a broader question. I'm wondering if you've got experience in your own company in difficult economic times of cost-cutting measures, and what have been some of perhaps the most unusual or, in your view, most unreasonable cost-cutting measures taken in a place where you work now or a place where you might have worked in the past. Do give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's coming up for 12 minutes to 5. Tola Kele, any experience of cost cutting that in other places that you've worked or wherever?
I have experienced cost cutting, and then also in my own personal life when things are just a bit tight, where you start all of a sudden reassessing things personally in your own finance. And I think the best one that I ever did was I cut my payment to DSTV, and then I didn't tell certain people in my family that I can just use their DSTV stream to log in. So I just created my own account using their smart card number. And to this day, they don't know that I'm living my best life thanks to them.
They do know this.
Oh, they don't know. They don't know.
Karabo, cost cutting?
Yeah, I used to work in retail, and I think they were very generous because they used to buy us bread, butter, and jam. And, when you get in, you have your tea break.
Right.
You can always have bread. And then they cut that. Everybody was up in arms about it. And then we also had, when it was your birthday, they'll buy you cake, snacks, and drinks. But then the head office was like, nope, we're doing away with that.
I mean, it's an interesting debate. I don't know, obviously, the ins and outs of the place where you worked. But somebody might come and address the staff and say, hey, guys, do you want to keep your jobs or do you want cake? You know, there was somebody many years ago,
like that.
many years ago in France who said, let them eat cake. And that ended very badly for Marie Antoinette. So, but sometimes cost cutting, I think particularly if it's done without a conversation, explaining, hey, listen, guys, I know there are a lot of people are upset. There used to be coffee and there isn't, or whatever it might be. I think when you do that without an explanation, it always bites harder. And if you have a frank and honest conversation, which some companies don't want to do, and say, have you also returned your bar fridge on the C-suite 10th floor, whatever. I get that those things come up. But if you explain it in the context of some economic pressure, maybe people will accept it more readily.
I also think that there needs to be a conversation about sometimes the incentives at companies are not that many. You don't get maybe like a 13th check. So it'll be small things like we buy you birthday cake. We'll take care of the coffee. You have a weekly food voucher thing. Those are the things that keep me going. Even if everything else sucks, that's the thing that I'll be like, okay, at least I have this one benefit. So once you cut that out, some people are going, well, then what's the benefit of me really sticking around? I'll start searching for another job.
Yeah, interesting. So let's get your take, please. Maybe there's cost cutting going on now at the place where you work. Maybe you run a business. Maybe you are the person who is having to count the money and look at future forward planning. And you're saying, listen, guys, we cannot continue doing what we did before. It's an interesting debate, and it raises all sorts of issues about what it is in the place where you work that you value the most. Call us, please, on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 8 minutes now to 5.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's pick up on something that was kind of touched on a little bit earlier in the day by Relebogile Mabucha on 702 afternoon. She started off the show asking people about money mistakes they'd made, and a good couple of people called in about cars they bought that really were cars they couldn't afford. But even if you think you can afford a car, and it's something, there is a very specific pleasure about getting a new car that one shouldn't minimize. But are there costs that are not always made clear enough, or perhaps in all the excitement as you see your car on the dealer's floor moving from your dream to your reality, that maybe you don't pay enough attention? Well, somebody who always pays very close attention to money and the cost of money and the cost of perhaps borrowing money is our regular guest on Minding Your Money, Paul Rulofsir, certified financial planner, with us as he always is at this time on a Wednesday. Paul, I mean, what are the major pitfalls in buying a car where you are not just, paying cash? Is it a failure to listen correctly, or are there some people who maybe don't explain it quite as well as they explain the value of those beautiful leather seats?
Well, John, I think it starts out with that wonderful
anticipation of driving a new car.
The new car smell.
Let's face it, I mean, you can't. Oh, unreal. And, it's the expectation, the anticipation, and you find all the justification that you should have this car because it's I want it because I want it. I think that was a campaign with one of the German cars at that stage. So we get wrapped up in that very quickly. And, we don't really take too much time in terms of seeing the long-term consequence of that. Now, as a financial planner, one wants to make sure that you're putting away for the future. And I would say that on the balance sheet, the car is probably one of the bigger culprits in terms of not getting to financial freedom down the road, because quite often, most often, we spend too much on the car. We don't overcome that delaying of gratification, that save a little bit more on a deposit and then buy the car. Because let's face it, John, there are a lot of deals around right now which make it very enticing.
Yes.
I mean, as we narrow down to the end of the year now, you're going to find companies saying, well, come and buy a car now. You'll only pay for it in April next year. And that's a pretty good deal in your mind, especially if you feel about what you feel about driving a car. And you could quite easily forego the consequences of that because it comes with a price. Car companies are not just simply going to give you a vehicle, waive the first 6 months premiums without some kind of financial consequence down the road.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying at the outset is that if we contained ourselves and bought the cars more responsibly and more within our means, we'd have that much more left over to allocate to other things like financial freedom, things like savings and retirement and all those other areas.
So,
the point I'm making, however, is we overcome quite quickly by this feeling.
Yeah. Paul, tell us about balloon payments. It sounds lovely. It's almost like there is a giant balloon that is attached to the huge ribbon around the car you've just bought. But this balloon isn't easily pricked from what I've gathered.
Yeah, it pops very quickly, John, because understand that whilst you're ballooning, you're going to put aside an amount of the value of the vehicle, a residual. And yes, they defer that. And they say, right, we will take that out of the financing, but you still pay the interest on the total value.
Right.
So what it does really is just sets aside a portion of the cost of the car, but you pay interest over the full value. And then at the end of whatever term you've taken to pay the car off, you still owe that residual, that balloon. My take on that, John, is that if you are ballooning a car, you quite simply are buying a car that you can't afford. Because, again, it comes back to this idea of buy things that you can actually comfortably pay for. And if I'm now already deferring an asset like a vehicle, it means that I can't really afford that particular price. I should actually be buying down.
Yes.
So I think that residuals and balloons are a clear indication that you're buying above your means. And I would say that the other consequence to that is that the extra that you're now paying for that vehicle, if you'd contained yourself and bought a lesser vehicle, you would have had that much more extra to pay yourself instead of the bank in terms of interest.
And just finally, and briefly, if you can, Paul, I mean, some people say, well, I bought a very expensive car, but I made an investment. Value, the extent to which cars retain value, your thoughts?
No, well, there are very few that do. I know there are some exotic cars and things, and that needs quite a lot of expertise and understanding in terms of that market, and quite often needs a lot of money. But for the average vehicle, we know, John, when I do a needs analysis on a financial plan, I'm looking at the balance sheet. And what I do is I actually don't even include the car on the asset side. I leave it off. Quite often, the liability side has to stay there because there's a term to pay the vehicle off.
Yes.
But you and I know that car just simply devalues over time. It's not an appreciable asset at all. So it's not one thing that you want to invest in. It's certainly not an investment vehicle. But there are exceptions to the rule, collectors' vehicles, yes, and sort of exotic cars and things. But that's another arena. I'm just saying that we often just buy too much into cars, and we should be saving a lot more ourselves down the road. It actually robs us, if we don't get it right, it robs us of potential financial freedom in the future.
Thank you so much, Paul Rulifson. Lots of food for thought there. Maybe you've got a car story of your own. You might want to call us with that on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. I see we've already got a couple of interesting WhatsApps as well. Just quickly on the issue. No, we'll do this later. Pick up on what some of you have to say about cost cutting. 2 minutes to 5.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Gauteng police have discovered 20 million rands worth of cocaine in Midrand. Officers conducted an operation yesterday after receiving a tip-off about drugs that were being stored at a plot in Blue Hills. Investigations revealed that the drugs were brought into South Africa from a neighboring country and were destined for Cape Town.
We can confirm that we have arrested the owner of the plot, a 56-year-old man, and the cocaine weighing about 80 kilograms, which is worth 20 million, has been seized.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
This November, say yes. Yes to adventure and yes to 30% off flights with Fly Safair. The new routes between Lanseria and PE, as well as Lanseria and East London, start from 1 November, and they're celebrating with a sale. Get 30% off all flights on these routes for travel throughout November. Sale ends at midnight, so don't say no. Just go to flysafair.co.za and grab flights between Lanseria and PE or East London. Fly Safair, for the love of flying. T's and C's apply.
Naked people always get dessert. Because naked people spend less money on insurance premiums, they've got more money for Mulva pudding. Or cheesecake. Or both. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds. And because it's all online, it also costs less. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start treating yourself like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
PG Glass Repair, PG Glass Replace.
I'm Komodo, PG Glass Technician. We use the leading windscreen brand, Shutterproof, PRUFE, to keep you safe.
Visit pg.co.za for trusted quality windscreens.
This is EWN.
The state says an attack on 2 Mamelodi women was intentional, and another Hawks official on the stand at the Madlanga Commission. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Prosecutors in the case against a Mamelodi man accused of murdering 2 young women have told the Magistrates Court that he orchestrated the murders. A suspect, Tebogo Mnisi, appeared in the dock in connection with the deaths of cousins Baleseng and Siamu Moramaga today. Another man shot during that incident, Desmond Sinong, is still recovering in hospital. Khomotso Modise was in court.
In addition to 2 counts of premeditated murder and 1 count of attempted murder, Tebogo Mnisi is also accused of being in possession of an illegal firearm and ammunition, which he allegedly used to murder Tsiamo and Baleseng Moramaga. As State Prosecutor Advocate Teko Mpake read the charges to him, Mnisi lowered his head and kept his eyes on the ground.
The 4th count is possession of a firearm without a license. It being alleged that on the 26th of October 2025, and at Onyama Mamelodi in the district of Mamelodi, the accused did unlawfully and in his possession a firearm to it, a 9mm pistol with a make unknown.
Mnisi has opted for a legal aid lawyer and has informed the court that he has no previous convictions or pending matters against him. He'll remain behind bars until January after he abandoned bail. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News in Mamelodi.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard that a tense standoff between members of the Political Killings Task Team and the Hawks could have easily escalated into an exchange of gunfire. 3 witnesses testified today, providing details of the December raid on alleged underworld boss Katiso KT Molefe at his Sandton home. Although the operation was led by the task team, Hawks officers confronted them during the operation. It's understood that the Hawks had been sent to verify whether the arrest operation was being carried out by legitimate officers. 2 Hawks officers and a member of the Political Killings Task Team appeared before the Commission today. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
As the Political Killings Task Team was in the process of arresting Katiso K.T. Molefe, they were taken aback when a group of Hawks officers arrived and began questioning them about their operation. Task Team member Captain Maxwell Wanda described the Hawks officers as being very aggressive and hostile.
They came in numbers. The way it happened, even the situation was not friendly.
Hawks officer Captain Barry Kruger testified that he was sent by his boss Brigadier Lisiba Mukwena to verify whether Molefe's arrest was a legitimate police operation, but he too says it was very tense.
And it could have easily resulted in a shootout.
It could have.
The Hawks and the police.
It could have, but that's why I put the buff on immediately and I walked with my diary. My diary is always marked.
The Madlanga Commission will resume tomorrow morning. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
The ANC has announced the return of Ibrahim Rasool to the top Western Cape structure, naming him the convener of the newly formed Provincial Task Team. This is part of a move to reconfigure the Provincial Executive Committee after a poor electoral showing in last year's elections. The ANC only managed 19.5% of the Western Cape vote in the hotly contested polls. ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula met with the PEC today amid months of speculation on a possible dissolution of the top provincial structure. Speaking at a media briefing in Cape Town today, Mbalula says a reshuffle of the party's Western Cape leadership is needed to strengthen its renewal drive. Mbalula says talks are still ongoing with Rasool, who served as chairperson of the ANC in the Western Cape in 1998.
But this task is not a full-time position. So he have requested us, among others, to look at this situation, and he will revert back to us about his decision. But the decision of the ANC is that he will convene this particular team.
Mbalula says the move does not constitute a dissolution.
The end goal is to strengthen the ANC in the Western Cape, and that's what we are doing. So we have not taken a drastic decision to dissolve anyone. We have reconfigured the leadership.
And an investigation is underway into a stabbing incident which left 2 inmates dead at the Polesmore Remand Correctional Facility. According to the Department of Correctional Services, violence broke out at that facility this morning. The department says 2 inmates died during efforts to contain the situation, while those who sustained injuries have been taken to hospitals. Lauren Isaacs reports.
Correctional Services says this morning's stabbing attack was directed at officials. This prompted the use of force to restore order. The department's Singabako Nxumalo says 2 inmates died during efforts to contain the situation.
Calm has since been restored and the injured have been transported to hospital for medical treatment.
An investigation is underway, and National Correctional Services Commissioner Mahoti Samuel Tobachale has expressed concern. Lauren Isaacs, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $4,025.76 an ounce. The rand is at 17.12 to the dollar, 22.63 to the pound, 19.93 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.40 a barrel.
Calvin Alex area roadworks now causing more than an hour delay. This is on the N3 southbound between the Between Interchange and London Road. In Midrand, also expect about a 20-minute delay. On the N1 south between New Road and the Betlu Interchange. Sunwood Park, Boksburg heading towards Brakpan roadworks also causing about a 20-minute delay. N17 eastbound between Osborne Road and Carnival City.
In your sport, England set victory target of 320 in their World Cup semi-final against South Africa. Stellenbosch aiming to reach calling knockout semi-finals for the second time in 3 seasons. And a man dies after being hit by a car driven by Inter Milan goalkeeper.
A cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Joburg dropping to overnight lows of 15 degrees, peaking at 24. Pretoria 17 and 26. And Vereeniging 14 and 25 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Prosecutors in the case against a Mamelodi man accused of murdering 2 young women have told the court that he orchestrated the murders.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes past 5. Thank you for driving home with us, or tuning in while you are at home, or tuning in wherever you are. We're with you all the way through until 6 o'clock. I was asking if there's been any cost cutting at the place where you work, either now or in your previous chapters of your working life. And this is an interesting one from Kedi, who says our head office in Germany sent out an email to halt all international travel unless it's to clients, and Christmas party from October to December. I'm not sure what the reference is to the Christmas party, but Kedi makes this point. This is to ensure that we get a good portion of our 14th check in April. We are all happy to adhere. So, cost cutting, I raised the question. First of all, is there cost cutting? But also, if you knew that the cost cutting was actually aimed at deriving and bringing on some kind of much more sustainable future for the company and hopefully for your job, might you be more willing to accept the fact that there's no free coffee anymore? Or if you want a birthday cake, you got to buy your own. Continue to please give us your thoughts on that on 011 883 0702 and on 072 702 1702. Coming up on the show in the next half an hour, we are going to focus very carefully and substantially on what happened at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today, and why I think today was so significant, and perhaps it was prefigured by some of what we heard yesterday. Very, very detailed account of what happened at the arrest of murder-accused Katie Molefe, where you had people coming from the Hawks, clearly aiming to disrupt the work of the officers who had come to execute this arrest. And the details coming out are really quite startling. And what they reveal for me is that whereas I think our mind was very much, when this process started, on top-level police people and their relationship with top-level politicians, but what this illustrates is how much the rot that has been encouraged and spread has gone down into, well down into the lower ranks of the police. But more on that with News 24's Bridget Wicks. That's coming up in a moment.
702. WhatsApp John
On 072
702
1702.
Yeah, interesting topic. Yeah, cost savings. You see it everywhere. Even myself, I did it. But I warned the guys a month in advance that I'm cutting on the toilet paper. I mean, yeah. I hire you to do your job. Your job is your job at the toilet. So, but yeah, I gave them advance notice.
Hi, Ntatejon. I'd like to remain anonymous. So at the place where I work now, they used to buy those hot beverages like your tea, your coffee, your hot chocolate, right? And it was a free-for-all, no worries. All of a sudden, you come to work one day and they're like, nope, 1 box of milk for the week. How, guys? How are we supposed to survive with like an office of 10 people on 1 box of milk per week? So what I've resorted to is just buying my own. So I bring my own milk, my sugar, my tea, my coffee that is in my office. And then sometimes when they're out of sugar, they'll come and ask me. So yeah, anonymous from Pretoria.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really, really interesting for me about all of this is what is the message that you send out, and do executives demonstrate a willingness to, take some of the pain themselves? I mean, if you're not getting tea and coffee, but, you see them all getting into a shuttle to go off to watch the Nedbank Golf Challenge out at Sun City, I don't think you're going to get much traction. Do this for yourself. Google I'll spell the name for you, Haruka Nishimatsu, who was the president and CEO of Japan Air. And I remember seeing an interview that he did, I think it was on CNN, but the channel's unimportant, where he spoke about how he's coming to work on the train. or by bus or whatever public transport it was. And he was being asked about this, and he said he was bewildered as to why there was all this fuss about what he was doing. And he said, listen, we're doing badly. The airline is doing badly. I'm asking everybody else to tighten their belts. So I've dispensed with the limo that used to pick me up at home and bring me in. I'm coming in on the train. Now, I'm not saying that all execs need to do something like that. But if you are cost cutting, surely you get buy-in if you take some of the pain yourself. Keep those coming. I think it's an interesting conversation. We'll find other ways to get back to it, as the year unfolds. But I think this is a decent start. 13 minutes now past 5 o'clock.
EWN Traffic.
Karabo Chale with the latest from the roads. Kelvin, we have problems.
Yeah, we still have those roadworks heading towards Alex at Germiston area. Roadworks causing about an hour delay. This is on the N3 southbound between the Bethlehem Interchange and London Road. In Midrand, expect more than a 20-minute delay. That's on the N1 South between New Road and the Bethlehem Interchange. Also leaving the Santon area, traffic remains heavily backed up on Catherine Street between Santon Drive and Greyston. Pulls off, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on Vidkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. Randburg heading towards Four Ways, traffic heavily backed up. N1 northbound between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive, and in Sunwood Park, Boxburg, roadworks are now causing about a 20-minute delay. This is on the N17 eastbound between Osborne Road and Carnival City. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Can you share with us, Lira, in terms of some of the things you've had to change in your life, not just because you have the stroke and it affected things like your speech, but because now you know what you know and you don't want to get to that place of getting hit by a stroke again?
It's important for me to manage my stress. I feel that calming down my stress levels is better for my recovery. So I take time to exercise and I eat well and I take slow mornings and I do the things that I love to do. So I keep stress away daily by doing that.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Study your law degree at Regenesis Law School in Sandton or online and build a successful future with leading multinational corporations or launch your own legal practice. A Regenesis Law degree is profoundly transformational, shaping intellectually sharp, fearless warriors, justice, and purpose-driven lawyers. Regenesis is Africa's fastest-growing education institution with 1,000 multinational clients across 12 countries and a faculty of 100 industry experts. Enroll now for your law degree at Regenesis Law School at law.regenesis.net.
Access to the internet is vital for any country to grow. That's why the recent 6.75 billion rand digital infrastructure deal that Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking facilitated between Telkom and an Actis-led consortium is so transformational for South Africa. It unlocks growth and provides internet access to underserved communities who will now have access to the internet for the very first time. Search CIB Stories of Impact to watch the full story.
Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch, introducing the King of Power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just 169 Rand a month over 36 months or 4,999 Rand at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. Let's focus our attention now on the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. I think today's been a very important and very, very interesting day as various officers involved in a quite extraordinary scene. And this goes back to last year, where police arrived to arrest someone who now stands trial for murder, Katie Mulife, a businessman who's facing a number of charges, and found themselves confronted, and I think confronted is a fair word for that, by a large number of other police officers who also brought with them a helicopter at one point. What actually happened there? Well, it's starting to unfold at Madlanga, and somebody who's keeping a close eye on this because she's covered the case before is News 24 journalist Bernadette Wicks. Bernadette, good afternoon, and thanks so much for your time. Quite a remarkable day at Madlanga. What came out that perhaps you didn't already know about from other research and coverage that you've done before?
Afternoon, John. It's always good to be with you. Well, yes, as you said, we have reported on this very sort of confrontational situation that the police who went to arrest Katiso Molefe in December last year found themselves faced with. And what happened is they had said during Molefe's bail application for the murder of Armand Swart, which we know is one of the central cases involved in what the commission is looking at, during his bail application, in what appeared to kind of be an effort to illustrate his reach and his connectedness, the investigating officers spoke about how when they went to go and arrest him, Hawks officers and a Gauteng traffic helicopter arrived at the scene, and there was a lot of confusion about who was who. There were stories that there were fake officers at this house, and actually what we heard during the bail application was that it almost ended up in a shootout between the officers themselves. Now, we didn't quite get that tone from today's testimony. What we heard was it was uncomfortable, there was a confrontation,
Yes.
but that everything was eventually ironed out. A lot of what we heard today pretty much confirmed that, just provided more details. And we heard from the Hawks officers themselves, which I thought was really interesting, about how they were instructed, how they were deployed, and what they were actually doing there themselves on their version. So we did hear that we heard from Captain Barry Kruger, who's in the Toms unit of the Hawks. We heard that he got a call from his commander. He got told, listen, there are people who could potentially be impersonating Hawks officers at this house in Sandhurst. Please go there immediately. He said it was this really urgent request. He said he was in Pretoria North at the time. Obviously, it was peak hour traffic. It took him a while to get there, but that his commander was calling him constantly while he was en route to check how far he was, and that they were really treating this with an absolute sense of urgency. He did obviously explain that once they got there and once they established that this was in fact a legitimate police operation, that everyone was able to stand down and all was in order.
So what was a Gauteng traffic helicopter doing that? Is this something doing there? Is this something we need to wait to find out more about? I mean, first of all, it wasn't a traffic incident. Secondly, it would involve the deployment of a resource from a different department of law enforcement, unless I've got my organogram wrong. I mean, that surely is going to be interesting if it hasn't come up yet.
Absolutely. So there was an explanation provided for that. I mean, it sounded so odd at the time that we first heard about it during that bail application. And it's still, even with the explanation that was provided, it's a little bit difficult to understand. But essentially, what Captain Kruger told us today is that when he was speaking to his commander had suggested that he potentially reach out to the Gauteng Traffic Police chief, because apparently their unit has a close working relationship with that unit. And he'd said, why don't you see if there's some officers on the ground, perhaps, who are closer to the scene, who could be deployed. And he says he did do this, and he was told there's no officers on the ground, but I can dispatch a helicopter. And that's apparently why the helicopter was deployed. But what's interesting is that there was a WhatsApp group that Captain Kruger created where he was roping in various colleagues' assistants.
Right.
And at 2 minutes after he was notified that the helicopter was airborne and it was en route, they received confirmation before even arriving there that this was a legitimate police operation. They received it from various sources. And so what was asked today by the commissioners was, well, if you received this information, why didn't you call back the helicopter? Why did you still have to proceed? Why didn't you sort of stand down and get all of your colleagues who you had roped in to stand down? And he said, we were almost there. We needed to confirm for ourselves. But it does raise questions. I mean, dispatching a helicopter, it costs a lot of money just to get that thing up in the air, and we have other major crime incidents where we don't see helicopters
Absolutely.
deployed. So it's this massive resource deployed in this very bizarre, odd situation, and there are definitely questions that still need to be answered. Like I say, I don't think the explanation fully explains sort of why that happened.
So Bridget, two observations and then a further question. I mean, this does bring us back to where we started back in July with Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, whose central proposition, and I'm simplifying it, but I think it'll do for now, that there are criminal syndicates and the people who head them that are able to get certain things done on their behalf by senior police officers. And surely if we frame today's conversations within what General Mkhwanazi put on the table squarely for South Africans, then a lot of this starts to perhaps make some sense. I mean, for example, has anyone yet explained how a person who's now standing trial for murder and some other charges besides, as I understand it, is able to get the police to respond in his clearly personal interests with such a large number of people, with such a risk to other officers doing their jobs? Is that an answer we'll still have to wait for?
Well, I don't know if we'll ever get that answer. No one really has answered that. I mean, to be quite honest, when we reached out to the Hawks at the time that we first heard this during that bail application, their response was then Hawks head Godfrey Labia had received a call. It kind of came out as he didn't know who the person calling him was, but despite that, all of these resources were sent. So there was this attempt, this clear attempt from the Hawks to distance themselves from any knowledge about who this was, who was involved, what was involved. But against that backdrop, it then seems very odd that on an anonymous tip-off, you would deploy these kinds of resources.
Yes.
You know, and another question that came up today is, you had this Hawks captain who was all the way in Pretoria North. He said, it's going to take me ages to get there. I have a problem with my car. And why were the Sandton police, who would have been the closest police station, why did they not contact their colleagues at Sandton Police Station or at Rosebank Police Station? Because they would have been better placed and they would have been able to get to the scene so much quicker. So there are so many questions about the way the situation was handled.
Yes.
And like you say, how someone got that kind of a response to come and essentially what appears to be assist with their own personal issue has not been answered yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there was a moment, the witness who seemed to have the most difficulty explaining anything was Brigadier Lisiba Mokoena, head of the Hawks Tactical Operations Management Section, when it was demonstrated to him, it seemed to be on a number of occasions, that in a WhatsApp group of which he was part, it had been made clear well before the officers arrived that, in fact, there was no issue to be solved. He hovered between saying he wasn't in the WhatsApp group to then saying he was, but wasn't checking the messages. It's an extraordinary situation. But thank you, Bernadette Wicks, News 24 journalist. I'm sure a detailed report from her coming up over the next couple of hours on that website. And really what it also showed for me is there's the big picture stuff that General Mkhwanazi put on the table. But what you really saw today was how lower level officers were having to wriggle and squirm and do contortions to defend something that really doesn't appear to have any line of defense at all. And if we're looking at the long-term damage done to the South African police services, I don't think it's just at the top. But anyway, it will continue. Madlanga Commission today, very, very interesting indeed. 26 minutes past 5.
You're with John Perlman
on 702. EWN Business.
Stephen Critters, a very good afternoon to you.
Afternoon to you, John. Well, a very interesting day actually on the markets for lots of different reasons. Partly because we're expecting an interest rate cut in the US. There's already been one from the Bank of Canada, by the way. We're also then, of course, looking at that big agreement or that big discussion between the US President Donald Trump and the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. And at the same time, Trump has already suggested that they've put the finishing touches on their trade deal with South Korea. And we're expecting a lot more to come from the US today in terms of earnings. So all of these things happening at the same time, and within all of that, some results of our own. The JSE All Share ending the day up 0.5%. 110,371 points. Financials down 0.85, industrials down 0.05, and resources up, John, at 2.81. Gold is stronger, I suspect, on interest rate expectations. I think it's taking platinum with it, and all of that having a bit of an impact today. Karoo is down 4%. We Buy Cars ending the day down another 3% after ending the day down nearly 14% yesterday after that weaker than expected earnings outlook. It does seem that there might be some changes going on in the second-hand car industry. We heard last night from the CEO at We Buy Cars, Van der Walt, that yes, it does look like new Chinese models, which are roughly the same price as a sort of good quality second-hand car, if I can put it like that, or a more traditional car, are actually taking some of the second-hand market. Investec up 2.77, Old Mutual up 2.5%, and Old Mutual down 2.5%, Investec down 2.77, and Momentum down nearly 2.5% as well. Glencore up 5.56% on the day. Its copper production volumes are up 36% quarter on quarter in its third quarter. Zinc volumes are up by 10% period on period. Steel making and energy coal volumes on track for full year outcomes. That's according to their statement. And Valterra up 5.35%. They confirmed last night their production is running smoothly again at the lower section of the Amandelbult mine. There was that intense flooding there in February. Kumba up 4.84 after a strong update yesterday, and then gold and platinum miners doing quite nicely too. Poultry producer Astral confirming their headline earnings per share will be up by between 5 and 15%. They say that there's been an increase in sales and in the number of broilers slaughtered, and their per unit production costs are looking better as well. Pretty much everyone expecting an interest rate cut in the US today, and that's had an impact on markets. That's pushed things up. At the same time, of course, a lot of expectation about what's going to come from that trip to Asia by Trump. The Dow Jones is up 0.56%. The Nasdaq is up 0.58%. The S&P 500 is up 0.22%. The gold price higher too, at $4,008.88 an ounce. Platinum $1,597, and Brent crude $64.60. The rand to the dollar 17.10. The rand to the euro 19.92, and to the British pound at 22.63. On the Money Show tonight, we'll be speaking to the acting CEO of the Air Traffic Navigation Services, Matome Mohalola. An important conversation there about flight procedures, about what needs to happen, about issues with skills. I understand the private sector's offered to get involved. We'll ask if he's taking the hand that's being offered there. I was astonished when I read this. This was on MoneyWeb this morning. NERSA, the energy regulator, argued in court that you, as John Perlman, who buys electricity, I presume from the city of Joburg, John, have no right to know how much Joburg is paying Eskom for it. That's their argument.
Okay.
Astonishing. So you have no way of knowing how much profit they're making. I mean, it's an incredible argument to make. We'll talk more about that, because as I understand the Constitution, you have a right to government-held information. You have a right to be consulted as John Perlman, nogal. So it's just got to be wrong. But how can an energy regulator stand up and say that in court? We'll talk about that tonight. There's some information suggesting that salaries are increasing. I'm not making that up. And Nikki Bush, the speaker, leadership expert. I first came across her as someone who was really working in the children's space. We'll speak to her as your shapeshifter tonight on The Money Show. Stephen Krutis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. 29 minutes to 6. Great lineup as always on The Money Show. It is there for your listening pleasure between 6 and 8. Maki Molapo is standing by with the very latest news. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The country's magistrates are concerned about continued inaction by the Independent Remuneration Commission and the presidency regarding the long overdue salary review. They say the first major review report, which affects the judicial independence and integrity of the lower courts, was compiled by the IRC in 2008. The magistrates say it was acknowledged that the remuneration gap between the lowest paid judge and the highest paid magistrate was too wide and unjustifiable. They say they find themselves in limbo as the magistrates' remuneration now falls exclusively under the IRC and the President. Ndutuzela Nene has more.
The Judicial Officers Association of South Africa, JOASA, says the last time magistrate salaries were adjusted was 17 years ago. JOASA President, Magistrate Nilan Karikan, says President Cyril Ramaphosa has failed to act and finalize the salary review. Today, they stage a protest outside Parliament and handed over a memorandum giving his office 2 weeks to fast-track like the salary adjustments.
Our president, wherever he might be, needs to get documents scanned. He needs to sign it off, send it to Parliament. The National Council of Provinces, they need to sign off so that we can move forward.
Magistrates Karikan adds that the continued delays undermine the morale of magistrates and the principle of judicial independence. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero is in the firing line once again after minority parties in council filed a motion of no confidence against him. The Al Jama'ah Party, the UDM and the ATM have submitted a motion for Morero's removal despite previously being part of the ANC-led coalition government. The parties claim Morero failed to deliver on urgent service delivery needs of residents and failed to provide decisive leadership. UDM councillor Yogama Zigebe says Morero has proven that he's not the best candidate for the job.
Under Dada Morero's tenure, Johannesburg experienced one of its most difficult periods of administrative instability and service delivery collapse. Among the most serious are national and provincial interference in the city's internal appointments. That is the ANC, of course, especially the appointment of the city manager.
Environmental lobby group Greenpeace Africa says it's crunch time for Africa's mining industry. The organization released a new report today on the rush for Africa's critical minerals. The report warns that Africa's vast reserves could either drive development or further strip the continent of its resources if governance and value addition remain weak. Sub-Saharan Africa holds 30% of global critical mineral reserves, including platinum group metals, cobalt and manganese. Pan-African strategist at Greenpeace Africa, Kwaile Monaheng.
This rush feels all too familiar. It echoes the historical patterns of extraction that have enriched others while impoverishing the continent, particularly the communities standing atop this wealth.
But he says the rush for critical minerals still offers an interesting opportunity for the continent.
The opportunity to rewrite the rules of engagement, to move from a model of raw resource extraction to one of value addition, to redirect fossil fuel subsidies into renewable energy infrastructure, to demand free, prior and informed consent as a non-negotiable, and to ensure that Africa's mineral wealth powers not only the global transition, but also Africa's own industrialization.
And in Tanzania, police have declared an evening curfew along with military and police patrols in commercial capital Dar es Salaam today after protests broke out in the city as the country held elections criticized for repressing the opposition. This follows unrest that started this morning as the East African nation headed to the polls in elections where the main challengers have either been jailed or barred from standing. Earlier today, online watchdog NetBlocks said widespread internet blackouts have been reported in the country. President Samia Suluhu Hassan is expected to win, with results expected within 3 days. Government insists the election is being conducted fairly and has denied allegations of widespread human rights abuses in the run-up. A look at your weather. A cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 14 and 17 degrees and peak at highs between 24 and 26 degrees.
In Midrand, you can expect more than an hour delay. This is on the N1 southbound between New Road and the Batlu interchange. This is due to an earlier accident in Calvin. Also, roadworks causing about an hour delay on the N3 southbound between the Batlu interchange and London Road. And in Sandton, there's slow-moving traffic. This is also due to an earlier accident on the M1 northbound near Greyston. This is causing delays all the way from Killarney Bends.
The top story in Eyewitness News. The country's magistrates are concerned about continued inaction by the Independent Remuneration Commission and the presidency regarding the long overdue salary review.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Fiwa, what feedback do you have?
We did have a response from yesterday's big interview.
Yeah, the
Thandi.
mother of the child.
They did say they imposed a few sanctions.
Because they won't come on, since Stithians has handled this absolutely appallingly, because they won't even account to talk about their policies and whether or not those, in fact, help the kids and their families who are the victims of bullying. And I think it's a shame that they won't come on and speak and give their version.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Josie is about to bring the heat. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run, flavored by Nando's, is happening Saturday, 8 November at 5 p.m. Go 5K or 10K, run, walk, or just soak up that Josie summer air. Not tough enough? Well, if you've ever sprinted for a taxi, dodged potholes, or climbed stairs when the power was out, your training has already begun. Grab your crew, lace up, and move Jozi forward. Find the Discovery Vitality Chicken Run on racepass.com to enter. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run, flavored by Nando's. It's a run for everyone.
It all starts with advice from FNB Private. Because the perfect overseas trip starts with planning. Save and spend in multiple currencies with your FNB Global account and lock in exchange rates. Enjoy up to 40% off flights with eBucks Travel and order Forex on the FNB app delivered to you at no extra cost. Your adventure awaits. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. TC's earn rules and limits apply.
Welcome to the brand new days.
Sail the world with Norwegian Cruise Line, with more to see, more to do, and more to enjoy. Plus, upgrade your holiday with NCL's More at Sea for premium beverages, specialty dining, and much more. Think international cruising. Think NCL. For the best deals available, visit ncl.com or contact your travel agent. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to the brand new days.
The G20 Summit coming to Johannesburg is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Jozi My Jozi has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
My name is Yumna Bukers, community activist based in Bertrams. I transform bad spaces in the community into productive vegetable gardens and provide for local soup kitchens, schools, and the needy.
Jozi My Jozi is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Jozi My Jozi. Come see how Jozi does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Jozi My Jozi.
Jozi My Jozi Babize Bonke champion Mama Yumna will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast with Gugs Mhlungu just after 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. Don't miss it.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good day, John. Good day, Lenders. Abraham in Florida. John, it is really nice, apart from everything that happens in the company, but those little incentives really keep you excited and looking forward to the next year and the next month and the next day, right? Because you have to pay for certain things like coffee and all of that, right? But however, I knew with my company that they started cutting the 13 check that was gone, and then they went with the office party. They downsized what we used to do over the years, and I just knew that something is coming. Something is coming. I went and looked for a new job, and I left that company. Subsequent to that, the company had cut so many benefits that people used to get, and they are ailing when under the John. They are ailing.
Hi, this is Dedrick from Bedford View. I always, what always, comes to mind with me is that when corporates and companies get their strategies wrong, and these are people, by the way, that gets paid top dollar, to get the right strategy, right approach to grow the business and to grow the operating profit. When they get it wrong, they retrench the people at the bottom, and I don't think that's right. You never see the excos and the boards being halved. You never see them taking salary cuts. In fact, you see a lot of them getting massive salaries on the very year where they've actually retrenched people. And I think that's wrong. And I think the reason for that is that some of these big businesses, they design the strategy only around profit. And that's why eventually when it goes wrong, they retrench people. I think if your strategy is what can we do for our people and for the market and for the business, then you get companies like ours where through 30 years we haven't retrenched one person, even though during COVID we had to put personal money in, etc. And I think the big corporates, they get it wrong for that reason. That's my 2 cents worth. Sorry for the long message.
Yeah, no need to apologize for the long message. And as I always say, worth way more than 2 cents. Diedrich raising some really, really interesting points. And the other message as well, suggesting, maybe these are signals when there's cutting around these things that are considered small perks. It's a warning that there are bigger things to come. Quick one I want to share from Nikki, because remember when we were talking with Paul Ruloff, so if you missed it, by the way, Paul with some very interesting things to say in our Minding Your Money feature about the way in which car payments can be deceptive, and you might end up paying a lot of money and perhaps buying a car you really shouldn't be because you simply can't afford it. But I mentioned the new car smell. Nikki says, that iconic new car smell is a mix of chemicals and not entirely natural. It's a combination of volatile organic compounds, VOCs for short, emitted by the materials used in the car's interior, such as plastics, adhesives, and fabrics. Goes on to say VOCs are released as the materials break down over time. Factors like temperature, humidity, and air circulation can influence the intensity and duration of the scent. He says car manufacturers don't directly add a specific new car smell scent, but some may use fragrances or odorants to enhance the interior atmosphere. But the primary source of the smell, Nikki says, comes from the materials themselves. Didn't know any of this, and he concludes the new car smell typically fades over time, often within a few months to a year as the VOCs dissipate and the interior materials stabilize. Very interesting. Thank you for that. 16 minutes to 6.
EWN Sport.
Quite a day for South Africa's women's cricket, but we haven't won yet. Tola Kele, what's the latest from India?
Well, John, South Africa are on the verge of reaching a first ever 50-over World Cup final as they have England reeling on 166 for the loss of 8 wickets. That's in the 37th over. The English now need an unlikely 154 runs in 79 balls for victory. At the crease is Lindsay Smith on 14 alongside Danny White-Hodge on 28. Earlier, the Proteas women posted 319 for 7 as captain Lara Waldvat top scored with 169. While in an injury update, CSA say Tamsin Brits will not return to the field for the remainder of the semi-final as a precaution after falling on her shoulder. Switching over to rugby, where Kurtley Arunsa returns to the Springboks starting 15. That's for Saturday's opening November international against Japan. He starts on the wing with Cheston Kobe shifting to fullback.
I'm really excited to be back, and I think, like Coach Saras said now, it's not Cheslin's first time playing on fullback. I think we played against Ireland in 2022 in Avioto. He was a fullback. But looking forward to play with him. I think he's one of the best players, and just excited to be on the field again with him.
Steve Barker has warned his Stellenbosch players against complacency as they prepare to lock horns with Marumo Gallants in tonight's Carling Knockout quarterfinals. The winners will join Orlando Pirates, Richards Bay and Golden Arrows in the semis. Barker's Chargers have found their scoring boots in their last 2 games, having netted 8 goals during that period.
I think it was no goals in 18 days or something, but it's nice. I think just really about perseverance and just trusting and continuing to do the things that we always do, and just the confidence that we got from midweek, that carried in today, and it can carry on through to Wednesday and our next 2 very big important league matches before FIFA. So we've still got to get back from Bloem and travel to Bombela and back to Place Wilele. So hopefully the floodgates have opened a little bit.
A man in an electric wheelchair has died after being hit by a car driven by Inter Milan goalkeeper Joseph Martinez in the province of Como. The incident occurred on the morning of the 28th of October, with police stating that the wheelchair appeared to have veered into the path of the vehicle. Authorities are continuing to investigate the circumstances surrounding the accident, while the club say Martinez is being monitored by a psychologist. And former Formula One boss Bernie Ecclestone has said that Felipe Massa's High Court claims are a misguided attempt to reopen the result of the 2008 Drivers' Championship. He finished as runner-up to Lewis Hamilton, and the Brit's success is the subject of a legal action, with Massa bringing a £64 million claim against Formula One management. Ecclestone and the FIA are defending the claims and have applied for the case to be thrown out. And in a reminder of the semi-final clash between South Africa and England women, the English are currently at the crease on 172 for the loss of 8 in the 38th over. They still need 148 runs in 75 balls for victory. Tola Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Randburg's jammed. What's happening there? Karabo Chali.
Yes, heading towards Four Ways, Randburg traffic at a standstill. This is on the N1 northbound between Bears, Nordia and Winnie Mandela Drive. This is due to two separate accidents, one at Malibongo Drive and the other one approaching Winnie Mandela. So avoid that route at all costs. I understand there's about a 40-minute delay through there. Midrand also expect about a 20-minute delay. N1 South from New Road to the Batlu interchange. Leaving Sandton, there's heavy delays on Catherine Street between Sandton Drive and Grayston. Also in Sandton, there's an accident scene M1 North near Grayston. This is causing huge delays all the way from Killarney. Bends pulls off bumper-to-bumper traffic on Witkoppen Road between Main and Stonehaven. Tembisa traffic also heavily backed up on the R21 northbound between the R25 Papsfontein off-ramp and Olifantsfontein Road. And finally, Sunwood Park, Boksburg, traveling towards Brakpan. Roadworks causing more than a 20-minute delay. N17 eastbound between Osborne and Carnival City. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 90. You are hunting for your child's missing hamster. That one's a stretch, but fortunately with the Outsurance Pointsmen on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance Pointsmen, easing traffic congestion and getting you there quickly and safely since 2005. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out, in proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using hashtag PointsmenLove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Too early to play. We are the champions because after all it is just the semi-final and we still do have to get 2 more wickets. But what a performance so far by South Africa's women cricketers. Really exciting stuff, and it's a story we'll follow up tomorrow. But right now let's do some music. So I want to know what we're going to be talking about today in regards to our musical theme. Jonathan Fairbairn has been setting it up. Hi.
Afternoon to you, John, and to our 702 family. So if you think about love and the word love in songs, it would be very common, right?
It would.
So we were like thinking, okay, what other things could be common in songs that we could ask?
Okay. Titles and lyrics, eh?
Lyrics and titles.
Okay.
So tonight, so think about it. Songs in lyrics or titles with the word tonight.
Okay.
Okay. It's used quite a bit. I have checked it out.
Yes, I would expect so.
Yeah. So that's what we are playing with tonight. We want you to suggest songs that have tonight in the title or tonight in the lyrics where it's quite prominent, maybe in the chorus or whatever it may be. So to kick us off, let's go back to 1997 with a Swedish artist, Eagle Eye Cherry, and the song Save Tonight.
Okay, well, let's enjoy that. And while you're enjoying it and thinking about what you might be doing tonight as you either make your way home or settle into the place where you live in the company of 702, a song with the word tonight in it, either in the title or the lyrics that you really, really like. Let's go with the ones you really like. We don't have to do songs you don't like. Right now, let's get it going. Eagle Eye Cherry.
All we need is candlelight, you and me, and a bottle of wine, and I'll hold you tonight. Well, we know I'm going away, and how I wish you were so take this wine and drink with me. Let's delay our misery. Say tonight. Fight the break of dawn, come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone, sing tonight. Fight the break of dawn, come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone.
Yeah, great song, I think, all the way back from 1997, as Kabazela said. Eagle Eye Cherry, Save Tonight. So songs that you like that have the word tonight either in the title or either in the lyrics. Give us a call on that on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. We got plenty coming in already, but we still want yours. You know where to get us. It's 8 minutes to 6.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Gauteng police have discovered 20 million rands worth of cocaine in Midrand. Officers conducted an operation yesterday after receiving a tip-off about drugs that were being stored at a plot in Blue Hills. Investigations revealed the drugs were brought into South Africa from a neighboring country and were destined for Cape Town.
We can confirm that we have arrested the owner of the plot, a 56-year-old man, and the cocaine weighing about 80 kilograms, which is worth 20 million, has been seized.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Prime Media, South Africa's most trusted media group, presents Prime Impact, a free 1-hour business seminar running daily at the Prime Media offices in Sandton from the 3rd to the 7th of November. Learn how radio and digital can reach your target market and grow your business with more customers. Every registered business receives a tailored demo ad and a simple campaign plan, plus access to event-only package opportunities. Seats are limited, so secure your spot now. Register at primeimpact.co.za. That's primeimpact.co.za.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
You could do something first and still be doing it wrong. What hurts is sprinting but never making it to the finish line. Quit going in the wrong direction, because with Sunny Sixt, you can rent here and globally. Other car rental companies only have a vision to try harder. We actually deliver. While they leave you feeling blue, our budget and vibe match yours. For a tailored service offering premium at every stage, book premium car rental excellence with Sunny Sixt.
702. WhatsApp John
On 072
702
1702.
Dr. John, hey, Judy Boucher, I can't be with you tonight. Woman, yeah, you are driving us well. We're driving home.
Hi, John. A perfect song with the lyric "Tonight" in it is "Tonight I Celebrate My Love for You" by Peebo Bryson and Roberta Flack. I dedicate that one to my beloved John.
Tonight I celebrate my love for you. It seems the natural thing to do.
Tonight, no one's gonna find us. We'll leave the world behind us. When I make love to you.
Tonight I celebrate my love for you and hope that deep inside you'll feel.
The lyric tonight, either in the title or in the song body itself. Lots of great suggestions. Sheldon says, we got that one. Sheldon also wanted Tonight I Celebrate My Love for You. Peebo Bryson, Roberta Flack, you heard it a moment ago. Clayton is bringing it back home with Zonke.
I got a feeling we'll be good tonight.
Yeah, wonderful stuff by Zonke tonight. She did a great interview. She hung out with Clement. I can't remember when that was, but if you Google it, you didn't hear it first time round. Have a listen. Wonderful insights into the music she makes and how she makes it. Jackie, Queen song, Don't Stop Me Now, starts with tonight. What else have we got? Jill, yay, Lady in Red, Chris de Berg, a favorite. Christina, Tonight by Genesis. Just, 3 times the word tonight. The Black Eyed Peas song that says, tonight is going to be a good night is, Diana says, I got a feeling. The line is a central and recurring lyric. One more.
Hey John, this is Debbie. I like Tonight is Gonna Be a Good Night by Black Eyed Peas. Thank you for a good show.
Hello, Ndade John and your team. The song I have on my mind about tonight is Elton John's Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Mzwandile The Hill, Joburg South.
There's a calm surrender to the rock sharp day when the heat of a rolling wind can't be turned away. An enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are.
Yeah, if you love Lions and Elton John, that song works pretty perfectly. Couple more tonight by John Legend, both Tsecho Fatso and Posh. Wondering if we can play that. We'd love to, but we're out of time. Hope you've enjoyed being with us on 702 Drive. We've loved hanging you. Have a great Wednesday night tonight.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, proud sponsor of the ABSA Africa Financial Markets Index 2025. Good evening. On